It's Radio Row. It needs no introduction. KJ, what's good, baby?
Hey, we here. We here. How we get here, G? How we get here?
Man, shout out, man. You got Delta. You know what I'm saying? Delta, they show love to you, man.
Delta, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Came in through Delta. And, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Radio Row.
Man.
Podcast here in its first year.
Hey, it is dope. The scenery's here. I just want to just share this story real quick. I'm in Starbucks, and I'm standing in line in Starbucks, and there's this person in front of me, and he's really big.
How big?
I mean, bro, his calves. bro, his calves. No. I am standing behind a grown man, and his calves in his jeans was incredible. Best calves I ever seen in my life.
Calves
right?
coming through the gym.
But the thing is people kept coming over to him. Hey, how you doing? Can I take a picture? He grabbed their phone and bam, hit a picture.
Yeah.
Grabbed their phone, bam, hit a picture. And I'm like, yo, this dude is a real star. Cam Newton, bruh.
Cam Newton.
Cool.
Cam.
I mean, just like, I don't know the man. You know him.
Yep.
A beautiful human being, a beautiful energy and spirit. I'm trying to let you guys know this, just in case you hear. I'm talking about in the Starbucks line. I don't know about y'all. How are you before you get your damn coffee? You know what I mean?
You ain't taking selfies.
You ain't taking selfies with no coffee.
And you walked up to him. You said, "What's up, Cam?"
Man, I'm right there in the line, man. Cam, how you doing, man? Hey, appreciate you. Hey, man, all that kind of stuff. He said, hey, man, all love good. You know what I'm saying?
Solid dude. He came on the show, and it's a lot of stars out here. We got to get Mark Ingram on. I want to bring Max Crosby on.
You saw Shannon Sharp?
Shay. If we can get Shay on here.
Shay printing money, man.
I'm going to probably be starstruck if we bring Shay on
He walking on. But you know what I just said before we get started? Before I got on the show, I broke the news on Twitter. By the way, I can still break the news with the best of them, you know what I'm saying? Because I always say, I can do what you can do, but you can't do what I can do. Man, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, brother of Jaxon Smith-Njigba, picked up by the Mariners.
Glims.
Come on, man.
So he doing spring ball. Going spring ball.
Yes, down in Arizona.
In Arizona.
With the Mariners.
What position?
The outfielder. Yeah, outfielder. It's been so before we came on, I talked to Kanan, and then right before we came on, his dad, the dad called Mata. Mata said, Jay, first thing he said, Jay. I said, man, I already said something. I said, man, are you on your knees? He said, I've been on my knees all morning. I've been on my knees praying all morning. I said, as a father. Now, KJ, I want you to think about this. Cam, Calais. Could you imagine them being on the professional teams for a football and soccer team in the same city at the same time?
Two brothers.
Same city. Come on, man.
Big no, that's special.
What do you?
I know Mata was crying. I know tears was flowing today.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's
good. Good job of him and his mom.
Okay, man. So what's coming up, KJ? Who we talking to?
Who we talking to today?
Yeah, we talking to today.
So we're talking to Kendrick Bourne. We're bringing on the NFL lead of players' health and safety. I want to dive deep with this guy.
I do too.
No. Like, seriously, I really want to dive deep with him when it comes to field, grass versus turf, concussions. They're trying to eliminate certain hits from the game. Let's really get down to football and see what we can do to make this game, quote unquote, safe.
Okay.
A violent sport safe. So
I got some questions too, man, because I asked you earlier today, and I'm just confused on tackles. I'm confused on the right way. I'm confused. We watch the game as a fan. We see folks, split second. You guys go to make the tackle. Oops, you hit him in the head. Okay, can't do that. And then you're like, okay, don't hit him in the head. And then you go low.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. So I'm like, man, what they supposed to do?
Well, on the real, though, we are taught the strike zone.
Okay.
The strike zone is from the top of your knee to your shoulder.
Okay.
That's what we are taught. But when I got a big dude coming, full speed, and it's a collision, I'm thinking the easiest way to get this guy down, the most for sure way to get this guy down is to take his legs out. Because if his legs off of the ground, he can't run.
Okay.
So that's a football player's mind. And so if they eliminate that from the game, the score is going to be 79 or 89 each and every week because it's going to be hard as hell to make plays. And so let's really talk to this doctor to really get figured out how we can make this make sense for both sides of the football.
Okay, so if you're watching right now, you're going to get a bunch of interviews. And by the way, there's going to be some other interviews because what's happening is people are just walking by. And y'all know KJ, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion. Folks know KJ. They don't know me. They know KJ. So they come by, I be like, KJ, get him. I be KJ, get him. I kind of feel like the pimp around here. You know what I'm saying? I just hit that. But before we get to that, we do have to talk about the most current Seahawks news. KJ, which part of that do you want to discuss first?
Well, we got to go to the big news.
Oh,
the Chip Kelly news.
Oh, Chip Kelly. That's right. Reports are saying, sources are saying that Chip Kelly came in and interviewed on Tuesday night. I don't know if it was in person.
Keep going.
I don't know if it was in person or anything like that, but he did come in town to interview as the offensive coordinator. So far, KJ, that makes 3. That makes Ryan Grubb right now. That's a potential candidate. That makes, I think his name's Tanner Engstrand. Engstrand is one, and Chip Kelly. That's 3 OC candidates so far. Your thoughts?
Okay, where are we at right now?
Is it February 7th?
Yes. The combine is around the corner.
Okay.
Free agency is around the corner.
A lot of decisions.
Senior Bowl just happened.
Mm-hmm.
We're not bringing in coordinators just to interview, just to get a feel for them.
Right.
Anybody that we're interviewing at this point is real.
Right.
Like we are really considering bringing you on our staff this football season.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see this move that we made bringing in Chip Kelly. We all know Chip Kelly's at UCLA, head coach there. He made the air raid famous. Everybody wanted to run the air raid. He did it at Oregon, doing it at UCLA.
Went to the Eagles.
Yep. So he made this famous.
Okay.
So if you bring that here, what would that look like? If you bring in Chip Kelly's personality, how would he gel with the guys? It's going to be really interesting to see if we do pull the trigger on Chip Kelly.
Right.
What's your thoughts on Chip?
Well, KJ, sometimes I get myself in trouble. And sometimes I think that I need to do a better job in, let's see, what my mama would say, keep your mouth shut. And this is one of those that I'm trying to keep my mouth shut because I want to just let it play out. I don't want to say anything that can that somebody takes it and they clip it and they say, well, G said this about Chip Kelly. So hell no. No. I can't help it. I can't help it. No. No. I don't care. They say, the saying goes, people don't care how much you know until they find out how much you care. I believe Chip Kelly is an offensive guru.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
Yes.
It reminds me of algebra. By the way, your boy was not good at math. However, I do know that when you have a bad math teacher, it's not that the teacher doesn't know math, it's just that they have a hard time communicating that with you.
Yes.
Right? So when I'm in that class, I'm frustrated. I can't connect with the teacher, even though that teacher has a wealth of knowledge about math.
Okay.
When it comes to Chip Kelly, I think Chip Kelly has a wealth of knowledge about football. He has a wealth of knowledge about the offense. I just don't believe that the connection would be there. Can I give you a story?
I love stories. You love stories. The viewers love stories.
Man.
Give us a story, G. Take us back.
The year is 2018, I believe. 18 or 19, one of them. Myself and a 7-on-7 football team filled with 3 5-stars and a plethora of 4-stars.
Okay.
We're down in L.A. for a tournament. At the time, Chip Kelly is the head coach. We go to, by the way, I have the actual picture of that day. We are down at UCLA. So we're meeting, we're seeing the coaches and everything. And so we talk to the coaches, and I'm just like, man, so we going to get to meet Chip Kelly? Is he coming out? And they said, No. What? What's he doing? Oh, he's watching film. So he's not going to come out and meet anybody? Now, that's his right. Fine. So somebody might say, gee, he doesn't have to come out and see y'all. No doubt. He doesn't.
Yeah.
No doubt. But what it said to me and what I did that day, on purpose, I said, I'm going to take a picture of everybody in this photo, and I'm going to remember this day right here, because one day I'm going to tell the story. Now, as I'm telling the story, the one part of me wants to post that picture on Twitter.
Don't do that.
But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to share this story.
Yeah.
So that's where my personal taste of Chip Kelly comes from.
Did any of those guys commit to UCLA?
Absolutely not. 2 guys are in the NFL. Wait, yeah, 2 guys are in the NFL right now.
And some are about to go to the NFL.
And some are about to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
No, not one person. As a matter of fact, when we left there, that was the conversation. Like, we'll never, not only will you not commit there, we'll never go visit there again.
Well, G, let's really talk about Chip Kelly. Let's really talk about his philosophy, his style, and could it make sense for this Seahawks football team? You got Geno Smith, who played in an air raid type of offense at West Virginia. You got a Jaxon Smith-Njigba, a DK Metcalf, a Tyler Lockett, who are the focal points of this offense. You have a Charles Cross, who played in an air raid style offense at Mississippi State under Mike Leach. Abe Lucas played in an air style offense as well, if I'm not mistaken. Air raid, air raid, air raid, air raid is what I'm hearing from all of these guys in their background. Chip Kelly. Let's really change this. Run the football. Control the time of possession. Let's just play tough nails defense. Hell with that. Let's put up points this year. Geno Smith, you my guy. You used to throwing the ball left, right, and down the football field.
Fair.
Could this make sense for this football team?
I think it could. And let me stand corrected on something. I hear where you're going with this, because at the end of the day, as long as there are results, as long as there are points, it doesn't matter who it is that is calling the plays. When I go to restaurants and the food is good, I don't care who it is that's cooking. You know what I mean? Because all I care about is what's on the plate. Seahawks fans right there, they want points on the plate. So I'll agree with you on that. Now, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to throw something right back at you. First, I want to say this. Even though I believe it is frustrating for a lot of people that are paying and focusing on Seahawks football, I absolutely love the way John Schneider is going about this process.
Yeah.
I love that he is crossing T's and dotting I's. I love that he's just not just throwing people in. You can feel in this seems like they are really doing their due diligence. Now, with that being said, because I believe that they're doing their due diligence, in my heart of hearts, I don't think Chip Kelly will pass through that whole deal. I don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't think he makes it through. Why? Because I think it's going to be with this regime. I don't know, but with this regime, I think it's going to be a little bit more of what you can do with X's and O's. I think if you're going to talk about a breath of fresh air, if you're talking about that, then you have to continue to talk about that all the way through.
G. Think about it. We got 36-year-old McDonald, who is the Kyle Shanahan of defense. You got Chip Kelly, who's been doing it year in and year out. And does this exist right now? To an extent, his style of offense.
Okay.
You see it a little bit with the Buffalo Bills. You see a little bit with Kansas City Chiefs. Them dudes are consistently putting up big points. Big points. They live in the shotgun. Chiefs live in the shotgun. Bills live in the shotgun. And you don't know where the football is going to go. I hated playing against these style of offenses. I could not stand playing against these fast-paced shotgun, keep you off balance. You catching your breath. Oh, what's it called? It could be something, G. It could be something.
I'll wrap it up with this last thing as we get ready to bring in interviews and things like that. And I'm going to say I can see where I'm starting to hedge my bet a little bit and come over to what you're saying is because of this. You're basically saying all Chip Kelly has to do is be in the kitchen and cook.
Cooking. Don't say a word.
He don't need to worry about no parents like me.
Nope.
Are you going to come out and meet him? He ain't got to worry about no recruiting. He ain't got to worry about no NIL. He ain't got to worry about none of that. You saying all he would have to do is come in here and just cook.
Dial it up, type it up, scheme them up, slice them up.
Yeah.
Use these. We could potentially have 2 1,000-yard receivers.
I stand corrected.
And the next one has 700.
That's why KJ. Wait, real quick. So are you saying, real quick, there's Ryan, there's Tanner, and there's Chip. There's 3 candidates so far. Are you saying that you would take Chip right now of all the 3?
I would take Ryan, Chip, whoever the other guy is.
Tanner.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take you, Doug.
Oh, you like Ryan, huh?
Yeah, I'll take him first.
All right.
I'll take him first.
Is that you, Doug, right there?
Penix.
Is that Michael Penix? Hey, Penix, what's up, baby? All right, man. Hey, it's been good. Let's get these folks coming through.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good time. He needs no introduction. They say it. Say it with us. JSN. Jaxon Smith-Njigba.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me
Man,
on.
you look
clean,
good. You look
man.
like $1 million.
Appreciate it, man.
Them teeth looking like $1 million
Thank
too.
you, thank you. I feel great. Yes, sir.
All right, man, let's get right to business, man. Look, the Seattle Seahawks hired a new head coach. Mike McDonald is the new head coach. Your thoughts?
I like it. Young, energetic, and at the end of the day, I trust those front office people to make the best decision. You know, I know we got a winning mentality over there. I know we want to win. I know how bad we want to win. So I'm trusted. I'm rocking with it. I'm excited to meet them, excited to, for this new era. And, yeah, let's get it on.
Jack, you want to know when I realized you was a dog? Jaxon Smith has wrist surgery in training camp preseason.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, he's going to be – you have to miss the first few weeks. You know who's out there the first game, G?
You talked about it. You said you had a wrist. You said you had it.
Look,
You got it too?
You got it.
them two right
Bro,
there.
Tell me about – we know Jackson, the receiver, catch all the passes. Talk to me about the dog, JSN, that people don't really know about. The dog that, by all means, I got to be on this field week 1 to start off my rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what set me apart, from day one, really just how I was raised, just growing up, just I love this game, and I really give this my all. And, back in Ohio State, they say a lot of things, but I want to play, by all means, whatever it takes. I'm a player, I'm a winner, so anytime I get on there, out there, I'm out there, and whatever we have to do, that's what it comes with, and I accept all things that come with this.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited, I'm blessed, I feel like first week breaking wrists, a lot of I would love to say thanks to a lot of people who helped me, Jonathan, and the EQ people, out there, help in Seattle, just helping me, get back right. And, we took all the steps, we did all the right things. It was tough. I was playing with the cast for 3 games.
Yeah.
I had to learn really how to catch with a hard cast on my palm.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like all that stuff makes me better and makes me who I am. So
I'm glad you bring that up. I'm gonna bring people into Jaxon Smith-Njigba's life a little bit. You mentioned Jonathan. Let's give him his real due and what he has meant to your life. This is the same man that you guys go on walks early in the morning. He makes you go walk. Tell us about what he has really done for you. It's your secret sauce, so tell the world.
It's my secret sauce, and I would love to give him his flowers. I'm sure he doesn't like all that, but, man, I got to give it to him. How we prepare throughout the year, and just the steps that we're taking early on, I just feel like we're taking the right steps. He's a man that makes sure he focuses on making sure my body is good. That's his job. Make sure I feel good, make sure I'm ready to play, and I wouldn't be here without him. And we're just beginning. This is only the beginning. Got a long ways to go, but got to invest in your body, got to invest in yourself, and
mind and body. Yeah.
And that's the thing, the mind. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I don't want to give my secret sauce too much, but I appreciate him. Yeah, he the man behind the camera doing it.
But for real, y'all be taking walks, though.
Yeah, we in Seattle. It's beautiful out there. We got to enjoy the nature out there, for sure.
And, Jack, people got a glimpse of what you bring to the table. They saw the game winner versus the Eagles. They saw all the touchdowns. We know that right now Seahawks don't have an offensive coordinator. Right? What is something that you want to see with this new play caller when it comes to really maximizing the talent that this offense has?
Yeah, I just think, you look at the best teams and the best offenses, I just think football is changing. You know, that West Coast, spread them out, spread the field out, and use us, you know, at what we're good at. And, you know, and dial it up, honestly, and just having that mindset of they got to stop us.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they gotta play their best to stop us. We're the force. We take it to them, and that's the mentality that I really want to have.
Slow down. What you mean by dial it up? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Dial it up. I know what it means on defense. What does dial it up mean on offense?
That means taking shots when you're supposed to take shots. That means running the ball when you're supposed to run the ball. And that means, you know, players making plays, you know, at the end of the day. And, you know, I just feel like, yeah, we have the guys, and I feel like we left a lot on the table, and that really hurts. But, you know, we're going to learn from that, and, you know, I'm just excited for the future.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about the wide receiver room. You got some brothers in there that you love, no doubt about it, notably DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Let's talk about those two. I want one thing that Tyler Lockett has taught you and one thing that DK Metcalf has taught you.
I'll start with DK. DK, man, just both of those guys, their professionalism, but DK, just a competitor. I have never seen a competitor like this. Ever.
No, DK is every game, too. Every game.
And, you know, I can rock with him because he loved the game. He want to be great. He's a winner. So, man, just him and his mindset, really, of going to go get it. Like I said, these guys can't stop me. I'm going to go get it. And, you know, I just love his mentality, his approach to the game. Tyler, too, his approach is different. But, you know, me and Tyler talk a lot. I mean, he's been great for me. Just the route recognition and just knowing how to play the game. Backyard football. Play the game. Get open. Not this run the book in a line. And that's something I really appreciate about him, just his love and just his rawness and his creativity in his mind, man. There's no mind like Tyler Lockett, so I appreciate that, and I'm very honored to learn from him.
Yeah, and you just crushed your rookie season. You know, we're in February. Let us a little bit into the secret sauce when it comes to your approach to this offseason. What's something you want to focus on? What's something you want to attack? Like, what's going to be that next big thing to really help JSN have an outstanding sophomore season?
Right. Off-seasons are huge for me, man. I love this time of year just to get better as a person. You know, first and foremost, I just want to grow in all angles. But the thing that I jump into the offseason, I think I got to get bigger, faster, stronger. Those three things got to happen. And then I just want to do, you know, just make sure the little things, you know, just the little things and, you know, how you land. And I really want to focus on, you know, I say it again, the little things, just, you know, getting tackled, how you fall, how does this happen, when you land, how you jump. Is my body, is it, you know, is it aligned? You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure it's aligned and I'm strong and I'm ready to attack when the fall camp comes and all that stuff comes, I'm ready to attack it.
Speaking of the off season, so check this out. I got to show him love. If Mina Smith-Njigba and Jamie Smith had two sons, and if they had two sons, one son is going to play pro football for the Seattle Seahawks. And you mean to tell me the other son can play for the Seattle Mariners?
Man. Wow. Man, it's a dream come true. I was so hyped this morning. I understand. I was so hyped this morning. And it's crazy because we've always said, man, when we get the opportunity, we're going to go to the city and we're going to do this. And we're trying to plan it. We're thinking second contract, you know. But, man, we just left it to God and he handled it. And, you know, I'm just so thankful to have him out there. He loves Seattle. He was with me all fall. You know that. And we have fun, and we're excited. I feel like the city, you know, it's got a lot of potential to grow more and be turned up and all that stuff. And we're just excited to put our boots, Smith-Njigba boots, on the ground and get it rolling.
When you say Smith-Njigba boots, like Mina's boots, because your dad,
honky tonk.
He goes to the honky tonk and he wears those boots.
Yeah.
We got experiences. We got to experience the honky tonk.
Man, we got to go down to Rockwall and go down with Mata and do the thing. Look, man, we ain't going to keep you. We going to get you going. We really appreciate you, man, jumping by, man.
Y'all family.
You look good and all that. Looking forward to this off season coming up, man.
Yes, sir.
You ready to do it, man? Oh, wait, one more thing, man, because I know there's probably at least one or two Seahawk fans that are listening right now. If you could talk to them right now and tell them what they meant to you as a fan base this season, what would you say?
I would say, man, it's really just been a dream come true. All the way around in the 12s, man. Like coming in, draft, boom, 12s. Hey, you know the 12s, they waiting on you, know? And it's real. And it's real. And I appreciate y'all being real, raw, excited. I mean, just loving the game, loving, me and the team. And, we together, man. I really feel like this is a family. We together. Y'all guys got to be back in the building, man, and y'all gotta still.
Man, I'm
pull
banned
up,
from the building, man. I'm banned from the building. I ain't going back.
Y'all gotta make sure that culture, P and all that stuff, that culture is still living. The young guys, we really appreciate that and really, look forward to seeing you guys. That means a lot. But the fans, man, I mean, it's only the beginning. At the end of the day.
Let's get it.
Speaking of Seahawks, that's a great segue.
Let's do it.
What's going on? By the way, y'all know who it is. Do introduction. That's Mina Kimes here on KJ All Day. Right now, the Seattle Seahawks have made big moves. There's a new coach, Mike Macdonald. Your thoughts on what's happening in Seahawks country?
I made no secret of the fact that I love the hire, advocated for the hire. I was been so impressed by what Coach Macdonald's done in Baltimore against Seattle, but especially against the sort of offenses that we've struggled against it over the last couple years or so, notably. After your time. So, and I know I'm sure, and I've heard you talk about this, KJ, but like if you like linebacker play, man, his defense is fun. Now, that said, he has arguably the best linebacker duo in the NFL in Queen and Roquan. So, and they're not, well, Queen might come with him, but Roquan's not. So I'll be interested to see just kind of what it looks like at first, because that defense in Baltimore, they do so much up front, Sims, the disguise, all of that. It could take a second. And I'll say, Baltimore, it took a second. I don't know if y'all remember 2 years ago, they were playing the Dolphins, and it was like a super high-scoring game. And there was busted coverages all over the place. And I remember people in Baltimore were like, ooh, I don't know about the new young defensive coordinator. But I was like, this is about as, from Wink Martindale to him, is about as different as you can get schematically. So just give it time. And I think I would say the same thing about Seattle. Might take a second.
And I'm a big fan of Mike Macdonald, but a big question I have is, what is this surrounding cast going to look like on this coaching staff? We just talked about Chip Kelly. And I don't know if you saw.
I saw that.
I don't know if you saw Chip Kelly. I'm an advocate. I think it makes all the sense in the world. What do you think the Seahawks will look like if Chip Kelly comes and coaches our offense?
Yeah, the important thing to, I think, note with Chip is what he did in the NFL in Philadelphia, San Francisco. It's different from actually what he did in college. Most recently, I know you guys watch a lot of Pac-12, RIP. So you've seen how creative he is with the run game in particular, some of the things he does with heavier personnel. So I say that to say I don't really know what it's going to look like. But I will say this about Chip. He's been inventive everywhere he's gone, and I think that's cool. I like that they're thinking outside of the box with these hires.
I do, too.
I just wonder if Mina's going to say, let Chip cook. I just want to know if that was going to happen. Okay, so there seems to be, Mina, a trend that's happening. A lot of young coaches are being hired, but it has been successful. Zach Taylor was young. Kyle Shanahan was young. Mike McDaniel in Miami was young. Your thoughts on this whole new trend? It's almost like that's what's in style now.
Yeah, Sean McVay. Obviously.
Sean McVay, yep.
I think that you never want to make generalizations when it comes to coaching hires, because sometimes a guy like Dan Campbell comes along and nobody knew what to think. And he ended up being amazing. And so it's just very unpredictable, and I don't think age necessarily dictates success. I do like, though, a lot of the coaches you mentioned, and I think this applies to Coach Macdonald as well, fresh ideas, trying something different. I like that. But the leadership piece of it is the hardest to project. One thing I loved about when Sean McVay came to the Rams, and you remember he was like 32.
30.
Everybody was like, I don't know
yeah,
about this.
yeah.
One thing I love was he brought in Wade Phillips with him as a defensive coordinator because he said, you know what, I'm going to do the offense. I'm a first-time head coach. You help me handle the defense. And I thought that was really smart, and it was humble to some degree.
Yep.
When I saw that Coach McDonald is bringing in Leslie Frazier, I loved
Genius.
that. Because it shows, like, okay, you know what, I'm a first-time head coach, a lot of moving parts. Let me bring in some expertise and experience to help me out.
And so personnel-wise, we see what the Niners are doing. We see what the Eagles have. We see what the Cowboys have. We look at the Seahawks football team. What is it that we need to add to this team to really go from being this 8-9 team, 9-8, to really competing like 11, 12 football games and really competing for championships? What do we need, Mina?
I think the offense is pretty stacked with the skill players. I think maybe just bolstering the offensive line and the interior would help. I'm a huge advocate of Geno Smith, so I think he just needs more protection, particularly on third down. You saw some of the pressure issues. So defensively is, I think, where you got more needs.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the draft they go D-tackle. There's a lot of really nice penetrating defensive tackles in the draft. I think that's something that we could address, something that's very important with Coach McDonald and his scheme. Linebacker. But, man, dude, it is so hard to find good off-ball linebackers these days. Like the draft, I mean, you don't really see many young players coming out because the position is so difficult to play now. So that's a need.
So here's the biggest thing. Here's my big concern. Some people say you got to have the quarterback. You have to have the quarterback to take you to the promised land, do all these amazing things. Or you could build around the quarterback. Do you think we can build around Geno Smith, and then Geno Smith can take it and get things done?
I don't object to the idea of considering quarterbacks. I said the same thing last year. But I think Geno Smith is the likelihood you're going to upgrade over him, it's not that high, to be honest. I think he played really good football last year.
The year before?
Yeah, the year before he was. A lot of people have said, oh, he regressed a lot. I actually don't think that's true, frankly. I think situationally he was in some tough situations when it came to pressure. So I'm team build around Geno.
Okay.
Even if you consider maybe finding a successor.
Yes.
I'm with you on that, and I know there are a lot of people that says that Geno Smith regressed. But if anything, what regressed is you can say that the offensive line wasn't that great, and 100%. You could also say that the run game, which is a pure fact, did not do what they thought that it would do. I love that example. Who's some of your favorites for next season coming into? I mean, the NFC. One thing I've learned about the NFC, it's changing.
Yeah.
Top teams, Detroit. I think Detroit is here to stay. I don't think that's a fluke or anything. Are there any teams that we're missing that nobody's talking about? An X factor that maybe Mina Kimes would bring up.
I'm very optimistic about Jordan Love and these Packers. I know, I was, man.
LaFleur did a really good job.
LaFleur's an amazing coach. The young players they drafted are really good. Like all those young skill players, I really like them. They got to figure out some things on defense. You got a new defensive coordinator coming in. They've really underperformed on that side of the ball forever. But offensively, what we saw from Love the second half of the season into the playoffs, I was really, really blown away.
I agree.
And before we let you go, Mina, Coach Carroll, my guy, everyone's guy. We love him. Just give me your favorite Coach Carroll experience, like when you turned on the TV and saw him, when you came to the games and saw him, like. What did Coach Carroll mean to you personally coaching the Seahawks football team?
I got a chance to meet Pete a few times over the years, did a panel with him, interviewed with him, always a delight. He seems like so much more than a coach. Like, I feel like he should be a motivational speaker, like the next Tony Robbins or whatever. But I actually think what I've learned from his tenure in Seattle is I don't know as much about football as – no, here's the thing. During the end of the Russell's time as the quarterback, I was very much let Russ cook. I thought, this offense is so frustrating. They're just trying to run the ball too much. And there were some times where I thought they ran the ball too much. But over time, I kind of – and then seeing what happened after, I came to realize, oh, no, there was a reason behind this offensive philosophy. A lot of it had to do with the coverages that – that you wanted Russ facing, the way it affected his game. And I think just looking back on, the decisions that Pete made along the way, so many of them proved to be correct ones over time. So I actually kind of look at his tenure with some humility about my own analysis of it. The short version, Pete knows ball.
Yep.
Mina Kimes, you've really made a name for yourself. You've been excellent on the trail. I'm going to say this. I like to say I was a Mina Kimes fan before most people knew. I'm telling you. And I go way back. So first, I want to tell you how good of a job you've done.
Thank you.
That's one. Two, I want to ask you, and you have done a great job in trailblazing for other women to come behind you. And, of course, just like you're coming behind others as well.
Yeah.
How important is it to continue to see more and more women fill this space?
It's awesome. I mean, I love turning on shows, radio shows, TV shows, and seeing women in different roles, because traditionally it's been more hosts and sideline reporters, but now we're having, more analysts, podcasters, radio hosts, things like that, and that's very cool. So, I like that it's just kind of become normal, honestly. You guys have some great ones in Seattle. Stacey Roast does a fantastic job, for example.
Dooley,
so it's great. But, it's I just speaking from ESPN, it's really possible just because of the players that I work with have been so welcoming, and so they've been my biggest cheerleaders and champions. It's kind of like we're all working together in this.
Do you get what we get when you go out there and say something bad about somebody? They hit you up like, Mina, you don't know what the hell you talking about. Who you think you talking about, Mina? do you get there? Or is that just between me and G?
It's a little different for me. It's the tone of it, I would say. It's a little different. By the way, you say you were early on me. I feel like I was early on the KJ Wright Media experience, because we did a show together from my podcast in Seattle like 6 years ago or something. When he was still playing. And I was telling him, I said this to him afterwards. I was like, damn, he's definitely doing media, because he's smooth and his analysis is fantastic. So that's been cool to watch on my end.
Appreciate it. Happy for you.
Appreciate it.
Mom, keeping you busy.
We're doing the sleep training now, so I told you, so I'm trying. But
Keep it going. All
right.
Yeah. Mina, thank you so much.
Mina, appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Kendrick Bourne. Everybody in the state of Washington should know. You know where he played his college football, lad. Come on, man. He played his college football.
Bro, what you mean you don't know, bro?
He plays football in Eastern Washington. And by the way, what's crazy, he should have been a Seahawk, y'all, because he's a Seahawk fan, right?
Facts.
I used to watch the dude as he prepared for the combine in Bellevue, Washington. He was doing this thing.
Yes,
KB,
sir.
what's good, baby?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man? I'm great,
I've seen him dancing, smiling. Every time he'll do 10 bench press, get up, dance. I'm like,
Who is this young dude?
I've always loved his energy, man.
And then you look at it now, the way you matured over these years, the way you've grown. When you throw it to number 84 side, it's going down.
It's going down.
It's going down.
And honestly, I'm a mismatch. So growing up in San Francisco, going in San Francisco, I was that third down guy. I would get that mismatch, and I was showing out. That's how I kind of made my name, man. So now it's kind of known. So I can't really hide no more. So got to step into that maturity role of knowing I'm going to get the ball and competing at a high level.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that mismatch, KB, Super Bowl, tell us the story about how you was about to be a mismatch nightmare.
Man, so I got a funny story. So Kyle Shanahan the night before, Saturday meetings, as KJ know, we do our last little reviews.
Right.
Kyle like, bro, the way this game had to play out, KB, you might be the MVP. I'm like, bro. And he low-key didn't even say might. He was like, you should be the MVP. I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, you serious? And I'm not to know where I'm at now, which was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Mentality-wise, maturity-wise, player-wise, and I'm just like, man. But I had that mismatch role. So Kansas City, the way they played was a lot of man-to-man, and I could really exploit the defense. But the game didn't go the way it was supposed to. I was the leading receiver. So if the game went exactly how it was supposed to and things executed, I would have had a great game. But it never came out to play. But that's just a funny inside story.
So, Kendrick, did he say this in front of the whole team, or he told you just directly, like
in front of the whole team?
Oh,
at the you know how the team.
In front of everybody.
He on the screen like but he low key just realized it at that point. He like, bro, and I'm back there like I'm trying to hide because like KB, don't put the game on me. I'm not that guy.
KB, obviously the Niners are in the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Is Kyle Shanahan a real play caller, bro? Is he is he incredible?
No, he's the real deal. Obviously, I learned that was my first system that I learned, and it was very tough for me coming in as an undrafted guy, and he taught me something like that. But he was very detailed in everything that he did, from the O-line, shifting right, sliding. I don't know the terminology of it because I don't play O-line, but making sure they on line. You know, it's like a piano keys. They got to be to offset it. Everything was detailed. He coached every single thing. It wasn't just one thing. It wasn't just receivers. And so every meeting and install on Wednesday, he was very detailed, and it started our week off to go win.
Yeah. And KB, I see this confidence in you, like this excitement, like you ready for what's next. When you look at yourself and evaluate yourself and what you bring to the table, what is something that you feel like, I bring this to an organization? If you got KB, this is what you're getting.
I truly feel like I'm a glue guy. The energy, I said, it's natural. But I've grown into be a glue. So when my teammates going through something, I want them to be so comfortable with me that I can talk to them, that they can open up to me, that they know I won't go tell their business or whatever it may be. It can be a great talk or it can be a bad talk, but know that I'm there for you, bro, and I really want to bring that energy. So I felt like I really had that with my receiver group in New England, and I helped those guys gel. I heard a rookie, Demario Douglas, came in. He told me, he's like, bro, if you wasn't here, it'd be tough. And it warmed my heart because I'm like, you know, I kind of break the ice. Like, he goofy and he having fun. He a patriot. And so those little details I feel like I would bring to any organization.
KB, I've always been a fan of yours. I've been knowing you, following your career. And you keep that energy. However, I do know, and I have seen, like KJ's talking about, I see a real difference in you.
Thank you.
So I want to know this, and everyone wants to know. We want to know why. We want to know what happened, because this just didn't happen overnight. What happened?
So honestly, when I was young, I went through the common ground, spending a lot of money, making the wrong moves, out all night, doing the wrong things, women, the whole nine of the life. And I met my guy, Henry Oregon. Shout out to my agent, my new agent. I switched over with him after the Super Bowl. And he just told me, if you keep this up, man, your life is not going to be good for longevity and for the long haul. So it was those little decisions that I had to start making of investing, buying real estate. Now I'm buying real estate with him and doing the right thing. So the confidence is there. The maturity is there. I can speak confidently because I'm doing the right things. I wouldn't be able to come on here and say that if I really wasn't really doing it. So it was those little things of controlling, setting myself up off the field made me a better football player because now I'm not thinking about things off the field. My finances, my family, everything's set up off the field. So now I can go play free. Mine is in a good place.
And are you in a space where you're confident and comfortable enough to be that voice in the locker room, to be like, hey, young buck, I was you 5 years ago. Hey, I was you. Hey, let me come with me. Let me show you what I'm. Are you in that space where you want to bring guys to where you are now?
Absolutely, and I think that's why God has made me so, as an extrovert, so I can express myself freely and not be closed in and keeping this information to myself. So we just signed Tyquan Thornton. He's a younger guy to disrupt the sports with my agent, and it's those examples. He was like searching, like, bro, this my agent is this and that, and I'm like, I want to do the right things off the field. So everything I'm hearing is what I just went through. So I'm like, I want to do this. I want to sign my mom to my agency to make her my agent. I was like, no, bro, sign over here. He gonna give you the blueprint to be successful off the field. And even the young guy Demario, just telling them, invest your money, do this, do that. Don't fall too far in the wayside with the clubbing and all that. And so those little details. And I'm trying to get to a point where I want to be a captain. I want to be a team captain. So I'm really working towards that. But being vocal has been easy for me, man.
I love talking about this because Kendrick Bourne is a free agent. I just want everybody to know he is a free agent right now.
Come get me.
You know what I'm saying? He is a free agent. But so real quick though, but I want to, even we talking about this free agent and Kendrick Bourne, you've given Henry, your agent, some love, but you also said something that I was listening, right? You mentioned family, sounds like wife. You also have mentioned it feels like you've mentioned faith. You mentioned God.
Yes, sir.
Talk about those two things and how they really impacted you.
Yes, God is ultimately the main thing, bro. I went through a situation where I was just in a lifestyle, like I said again, and God showing me where my life was headed, to destruction, in a sense. Like, he showed me bright and clear where I was headed, and I made a decision to commit to the Lord that I'm going to live right. I'm going to live by the word. I'm going to do the right things and treat my wife right, treat my kids right. do everything, and to a real disciplined manner. Like I don't live how I used to live. I don't spend my money how I used to spend my money, and it all goes back to God and how detailed He wants me to be and how I live. So now it's just awesome. So that's a great point. It's Henry, but it's ultimately God sending me Henry, sending me things that I have to see the signals and take heed to them.
Yeah. And KB, we're in kind of similar situations. In year 8, I had my knee injury.
Wow.
Contract year, just the anxiety that I had, like when free agency came, like, I was like, God, please, I don't know what's about to happen. Like, God, please let something good happen. Like, where are you at mentally coming off your injury and then heading into free agency?
So it's funny because I felt like if I got hurt in my year 1, I would be messed up. I would be tore up.
Right.
But I was blessed enough to not get hurt until year 7. And it's just a perspective thing. So, like, now I built a resume of my name. And I know you said you was in year 8, but I've changed so much and done things off the field to set myself up that this knee injury is not as stressful because I'm not playing for money. I'm not playing for other things. I'm playing for the remembrance, the joy of playing in the league and remembering the memory. So trying to build a dynasty behind that, and it's been helping my rehab. So I'm in a good mental state, and whatever happens, God got it in His hand, like you just said. Whatever He wants me to go through, because I was having my best year, and I feel like I got hurt because He wasn't ready for me to be a superstar. So He like, not yet. He like, not yet. So I'm like, all right, God. So now it's a mental journey for me to just focus on, okay, how do I be patient with my knee? And I just had a daughter, so it's hard. I have to be patient with her, holding her. She crying for no reason. So it's like a patient battle with me that I'm growing, and I'm challenged by God to just keep growing in those areas.
Good. Good.
Jared Mayo.
Oh,
New head coach for the the New England Patriots. Your thoughts?
So I love him. He was with Bill the whole time, his whole career, and then so he's seen a perspective of Bill from coaching, from playing, and then coaching. You know, players don't go in the coaches meeting. You don't know what those conversations are. So I think he's gonna have a sense of the locker room that Bill kind of didn't have. He's younger, so he's going to bring an old school mentality but a new school. And I think it's going to gel well. So players that come through there, it's going to be a different feel, I feel like. And it's going to work.
Are we good? Your agent looking at us like, okay. I got one question, one Patriot way question.
Uh-oh.
When you lose, when shit gets bad in the Patriots organization, is it like really, really, really bad to where he like on your ass? Or is it like direct, firm, strict? Like, what is like the losing and responding to that?
It depends on how the game goes. So you know how. So if we get smacked, if we like making mistakes, doing this or that, then it's on your ass. Like he on you. Like, bro,
this is he'll call out anybody.
Anybody. You know he did with Tom Brady, all that stuff. We call anybody, bro. And so it's that. So, but if we have a game where we could have won, we made it was just little things. Then it's kind of like, all right, we just lost, but. When it's like, bro, he can't fathom how we did that wrong, then he's on it.
Does he call it out where he show it on the film in front of everybody, or he just like looking at you straight ahead?
Yeah, he wants to embarrass you. Oh, because he wants you. He knows what that does. Pete Carroll, yeah, they same.
When the coach puts your stuff up in front of everybody,
you don't want to be up there again. So, and he knows that, bro. So it's a certain way of coaching, which I respect because it holds us to a higher standard. Right. I don't want to be up there again, so I'm gonna do this. when I see this play again or do this, I'm gonna do it right this time.
We got a couple more minutes with you, but this is important. When I look across the league right now, I keep seeing you've been in the league now. You're going on year 8, right?
Sir.
I keep seeing in the league polyculture, your Polynesian brothers coming into the league, Samoa being represented. What does it mean to you to be one of the big brothers, the Usos? What does it mean to you with your culture in the league?
I absolutely love it because we don't get a lot of respect. I'm Avokasi, Samoan, and Black. Juju is too, so I kind of get to meet both worlds. It's awesome. But the poly side, they're so loving. They're that type to like take care of their family and give too much. I was that person too. So I would suggest to my poly side, take care of yourself so that you could take care of your family longer. Don't get into doing it for 3 years. You can do it for 50 years if you do the right thing. So we're so loving in our culture, so warm-hearted that we'll give everything and then leave ourselves out. But in this day and age, you got to take care of yourself to help others. So with my Samoan side, I love how much we've grown and where we're going, but we got to learn how to love ourselves so that we can love harder. And our family don't understand, so we got to be the examples in the league to give them that knowledge.
Listen, I'm obviously I'm not Samoan, but from what I've seen, it's more of the give.
Come on.
Before taking care of yourself. That's just me from the outside looking in.
It is.
That's me from the outside looking in.
And Seattle got a lot of Seattle has a Polynesian community that's crazy.
Yes, sir.
They're everywhere. So you're right, bro. It's like your family has to water you too. Like we give so much, bro. We give so much, bro. So it's
your
hard, bro.
Your family has to water you too.
I can only say this because I've been through it, bro, where my family just didn't understand. So now when I took a step back, I'm like, I have to give myself 3 years. Y'all gotta wait. Because if you really want to win, wait for me to do this right, to do this real estate right.
KB, I've never in my life heard that.
You getting deep
here.
The
family has to water you too.
Yes, bro. It's hard.
Let me break down what KB's saying.
It's hard.
We got 30 seconds.
And this is a African American community and Samoan. It's the same.
Because people, when we get in this position, people look at us, they want from us, they pour from us, and we become empty. And they don't see it. They don't see it. They only see it from their point of view. But you don't realize that 4 or 5 other people doing the same thing you're doing. We're not gonna get to that.
If anybody is upset. If anybody's upset that this interview's ended now, that's because the man's got to go.
Put the camera on her real quick.
But I'm going to say this. As he getting ready to go and you want to hear more, I'm talking to the GMs. I'm talking to the presidents. I'm talking about to the owners, to the NFL organizations. If you want this in your locker room.
My dog. Thank you, bro.
Appreciate your family.
Thank you, bro. Y'all some real ones, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Man, time be flying.
Bro, they really do.
2017, 2018.
It was like I was.
So, you was there all 18?
No, I left. Right, and then I went to therapy for for a couple months, seeing my daughter born, and then I signed with the Redskins. I finished the year with the Redskins.
Who's your coach? Gruden was there?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Why was it? Well, hold on. Why was it terrible?
None of the players respected him.
Why?
Not like Pete Carroll.
I heard nothing good about Jay Gruden. Absolutely nothing.
Well, tell me why they didn't respect him though.
I think it was more so because the consistency of what was going on there. You talk about the training staff. You had the training staff, the head trainer coming in like 2 hours late.
What?
Than all of the players. I mean, he's not there no more, but I'm just saying.
I mean, obviously.
You didn't hear from me.
He wasn't there when he was supposed to be there.
Right. And I just think that a lot of the players didn't really take lightly to some of the stuff that was going on, like even because I didn't know exactly what was going on upstairs and things of that nature because I had just got there. But I think that they didn't look at him as like, you know, they would be talking back to him, and like he could be talking like we could be in the middle. You know how the coaches call us up? Like they'd be talking over him
while he's talking.
The head coach?
The head coach.
So anybody that I know that's been to the Commanders, Anthony McCoy, JJ, that is like, this place is a nightmare.
I mean,
it's different.
A nightmare.
This is what it sounds like to me. When you experience Seattle for a bit of time and then you leave.
Yeah.
Is there really a big difference, man?
Yeah, the grass isn't always greener. Right? Even with me being in Philly was still a great place. It just was hard as far as the fans. Like, the fans are super passionate there, right? Like, they going to get on your butt each and every day. Yeah. But then going to Seattle, it's a family atmosphere, right? You could bring your family into the locker room, things of that. He has that camaraderie from everyone, right, on the team. But when you go to the Commanders, it's like, okay, I was working out, right? I had left Seattle, had my little mental health stuff, and then they had 22 people on IR that year, right? They had 22 people on IR.
On the Seahawks?
No, the Commander or Redskins, right? That's when Alex Smith, they had started off like 7-0. and then they started losing because everybody started getting hurt. So they get me in they get me in there, right? I go, I do my workout. But I didn't really see any doctors or anything like that. So I basically go in, and I didn't even really know that they was about to sign me.
So no physical.
Not really.
Whoa.
No.
Hold on. Sometimes in the movie, I don't be paying attention,
Listen.
and I got to rewind it. So let me rewind real quick, because you said when I left here, I had some mental health situations, and then you went to the Commanders, and then no physical, no checking up on you and all that, and they went to sign you?
Yeah, so basically, they took us in a room, but the protocols that you're supposed to do as far as the physical, we did some of it, we didn't do all of it. But because I think they just needed someone to fill in that Sunday.
Come on in, get your ass in there and let's play.
Yeah, we need you to play because we don't have we need somebody outside linebacker, and you're the guy.
Yeah. All right, if y'all don't know who I'm talking to, this is my guy, Marcus Smith, my teammate from I feel old. I feel old. 2017, 2018. And, bro, first of all, I want to say from brother to brother, I'm proud of you.
Appreciate it,
I'm really
bro.
happy for you speaking up, using your voice. And every time I see you on Instagram, I'm tuned in.
Man, I
what
appreciate
Mark
that,
is
bro.
talking about.
Well, can you take, there's a lot of people joining us right now, and I think that it would behoove everyone to really pay attention to this message right here. Take us back. You talked about a mental health situation. Explain.
Yeah, so 2018, I just signed a one-year deal with Seattle Seahawks, and I had a run-in with suicide that year, right? This was in camp. I had been dealing with anxiety pretty much my whole entire career, and that was a point in time where it kind of got too much, and I just wanted to end the pain, and this is when I was in Seattle. And I had an attempt, right? But what stopped me was my wife. She called me, and then my mother-in-law called me after that. And so if you know, in Seattle, you could take the scenic route in Renton to the facility, and that's the way I was going. And once I was at the bottom of the hill, that was the first time I actually said to myself, like, okay, I need help, and something is really, really wrong with me. So that's when I went to Pete Carroll. I went to the trainers, Coach Hurt, and that was the first time I said I needed help.
Hold up. That was the first time in your life you said, I need help.
Yep.
Can y'all help me?
Yep.
How did they do when you were going through that moment you said I needed help?
Man, that was probably the perfect place for me to be in terms of getting help, right? Because once I went in there and I was talking to Pete, they understood that I was going through something and that I was going to be able to just walk away and go get the help. Now, they put me in contact with a therapist that could actually help me, that really helped me for like 4 to 5 years, even after she had just recently retired. And so me being in Seattle was the perfect place, because I don't know if I would have been anywhere else, if it would have been the same, or if I would be looking at you two right now. So it was God's purpose for me to be in Seattle because of Pete's his demeanor and how Coach Hurt is, because that was my coach in college.
Brother, if you don't mind me asking, if we can go back to that day, you know what I mean? Like you said, you got to the bottom, and you knew you needed help. Was there something specifically that you were gonna do to yourself at one point? Yeah.
So if you go on this scenic route, it's this long hill, and it has rocks on the side. It's almost kind of like a movie. Okay. I was trying to drive off of that and hurt myself. You get what I'm saying? And so what was jerking me back was my wife. She called me, because she always calls me before I go to the facility.
Okay.
So the reason why I jerked the car back was because she called me. And when somebody calls you and you have your Bluetooth hooked up, it rings through the car. So it's super loud. And so when it rang through the car, that's what snapped me out of it, and I jerked back.
Oh. Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I was there with you. And I'm going to keep it a buck. I was extremely ignorant to what anxiety is. I was extremely ignorant to what pressures people face and people going through stuff. And it didn't hit me until my 8th year in the league. It didn't hit me until I messed my knee up and I was going through free agency. And bro, when I tell you I would go to bed crying at night, I would go to bed sweating. I would wake up with panic attacks.
Yeah.
Right. I've had 2 panic attacks. I don't even know if I told you this, Jim. I've been to the hospital twice.
Yeah.
What?
Because you thinking that you're having a heart attack, but it's really a panic attack.
Gee, I've been to the hospital twice for panic attacks. I said, babe, I'm dying. I said, I'm dying right now. I never told you this. I don't think I ever told anybody this.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you in the bed, you in your room. Do you wake up in the middle of the night? Tell us this.
No, let me tell you the first episode. So the first episode was when I had my surgery. I had my surgery right in the middle of the pandemic, right? And when I tell you so many things was going through my mind, I'm like, damn, the Seahawks about to cut me. The Seahawks about to draft somebody else. Oh, I'm not going to be healthy enough on my contract year. They're going to put me on IR. Like, I just had all these thoughts going through my brain. And I woke up one day, and I was going through my day, and my heart was just beating out my chest. And I would just slow down, still beating. Had to call the ambulance.
And you went by the ambulance to the hospital?
No, my wife, I called the ambulance. They said, we think you're having a panic attack. My wife came home, and she took me to the hospital. It didn't hit me until I'm 29, 28 years old.
And that's how I was, too. I was kind of ignorant to it. And mine would happen in spurts, but I would kind of ignore it. But over time, you know, as you get older, and I always tell people this, when you have certain things that have happened in your life, trauma, it could be anything, right? Those things travel with you, right? And until you actually, those things are compartmentalized in your brain, and they're still there, right? So until you, like, push them to the front of your brain and release them out your mouth, they can still affect you.
Wow.
When you're older.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of what happened to me.
Yeah.
So we fast forward to today, in your works today. Tell the world right now, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm the CEO of the Circle of M, which we unmask the feelings that cause anxiety and depression. And my logo is a half helmet, half face, because oftentimes as football players, as athletes, we don't know how to take the helmet off, or we don't know how to separate ourselves from the athletic world, because that's what we've been doing our whole entire lives, right? And so I hold a healing circle for guys, for former players and active players through All Points North, who they have it's a treatment facility, but we do it online to really just create that locker room feel. Again, right? And then I obviously I have a podcast, but it's really to continue to just push that message out there and continue to get guys to be vulnerable.
Marcus, let me ask you this. How is it humanly possible to separate the football player from the person? We do this game, a lot of us, at 10 years old, high school, college. We're glorified. Teachers just pass us when we're in high school. We get praised by hundreds of thousands of people on game day. What are steps that as athletes we can take to really separate between the football player and the person?
Well, I always say this. We have to become aware first, because awareness and actually having the education and knowing that of how to separate yourself is the first thing, right? And then what I did was, once I went into therapy, and everybody, you know, therapy might not be for everybody. Let me get that straight, right? But when I went into therapy, I got to find out who the real Marcus Smith was, right? Because I didn't know who I was, right? She had to take me back to when I was younger to things that I may have dealt with that I had never really talked about, right? And I had to know, like, okay, that's how I figured out, okay, I'm more than football. I'm more than just this game. So that's how you kind of separate yourself from the helmet of knowing, like, hey, you know, these people out here, they see me as KJ Wright, the football player, but what is my true purpose? And that's what I help guys find out, because oftentimes it's hard for us to find our true purpose.
You said you mentioned that you talk to a lot of former players, right? When you're talking to your brothers that used to be in the league and everything, what's one of the top things that are bothering these players? What are some of the top things that's really in their hearts that I'm not asking who, I'm just asking what is?
I know the answer. I got my answer.
Well, one of them, and it might be different, but One of them is concussions. One of the top topics that comes up and that guys are scared about is the cognitive impairments that we suffer with while playing and afterwards, right? When you talk about memory loss, when you talk about taking a long time to process your thoughts and things of that nature, that's one of the things that come up the most. And what I have to do in the healing circle is I have to make them aware of what is out there, like we were just talking about before we got on this, right? Because the NFL doesn't really talk about what can actually help us with that, right? Because they're like, we don't really want to talk about concussions. We don't really want to have to deal with that because we signed, technically, we made a pact. We signed to play.
Oh, yeah.
So if you sign to play, like, we don't, why do we have to talk about it, right? So I have to be that bridge, right, to say, like, look, you could do this, and this, right? And I'll give an example. So when I first got done playing, I still got the video. You hit me. My boy gave me a concussion. My boy gave me a concussion.
Hit you in.
So we was playing Redskins.
This at home?
Yeah, this at home. I'm coming down the line. The running back ducks under, right? AJ is about to kill this guy. I'm trying to kill him too. He ducks under, and then AJ, we bump heads, right? So that was my last. Concussion, right? And so after that, I think I came back like a week later.
Yeah.
But I feel like because I didn't really take the time to get myself back right, I was so eager to get back on the field. I had problems right when I was finished playing.
Marcus, listen. Listen, bro. I told the NFL this myself. I said, you have got to make it mandatory. Mandatory. When you get a concussion, you cannot play the following Sunday.
No, bro.
You are still foggy. Light still bothers you. This is brain trauma.
Yeah.
Your brain had a damn injury.
Yeah.
Why are you going to go back and play football the next Sunday and have brain contact once again?
Yeah.
That is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
That is bizarre to me. How you preach player health and safety, but a guy gets brain trauma and he plays the following Sunday.
It don't make sense.
Don't make no sense.
It don't make sense at all. But
so, let me slow down. Let me slow down.
I feel the passion. I know, hey.
G.
Yes, sir.
You asked the question you asked. Ask me one more time so I can get it right.
I'm going to ask you. My man does the healing circle. And when he's talking to former players, former brothers, and when you are talking to former brothers, what is the biggest thing that seems to be in common that you guys talk about that you are dealing with as former players?
Oh.
What do you got? He said he started off with concussion.
Well, this is something that we don't talk about. I'll tell you what we don't talk about, which I think bothers guys, is how other people view us once we're done.
You sure you want to go down this lane?
Ooh, I love it. Please.
I believe that one of our biggest struggles is how do other people see me when I'm no longer wearing the helmet, shoulder pads, cleats? And what are they seeing? What are they really seeing? And I believe that's a battle that guys really go through.
Did you battle it? Tell the truth. Did you battle it?
I did. Let me tell you what I don't like is when you're done playing and you at home, right? Or you go around your people, they ask the question. You don't want to answer that question. It gets on your nerves. You know what I'm saying? Well, what happened? Or, well, why you not playing?
The question I get, what are you doing now?
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? What do you have going on with your life? I just got done 2 days ago. Mark, I swear to you, bro.
I'm telling you.
So what do you have? What's next? I don't know.
You ain't even really had time to process what you want to do next because that's what's been your focus for what? How long you played? 10 years?
I played 11 years.
11 years.
But no, take it before then. I played in middle school.
Well, yeah.
Middle school till 31, 32 years old.
It's the Kobe mentality.
Yeah. So one thing I love about people that are listening right now, viewers right now, and I don't care whether you're dealing with mental health issues or a loved one is dealing with mental health issues. It's a real thing. I'm just grateful that folks like you are willing to use your platform to talk about it.
Yeah.
So what's next? What's next that you are recommending for the world? What's next, something that you can offer that you're continuing to go with?
Yeah, I think what's next is really for all the guys who are playing and the players that come after and the guys who are done playing. I think the education needs to be a priority, right? We can't just continue to talk around this issue because we know that it's there. And so I want people and players to know, like, you don't got to die to understand what you may be dealing with your brain, right?
Damn.
Because what they say is that, okay, in order for us to really know if you got CTE or you're dealing with that, you need to donate your brain. Well, there are symptoms that there's studies out there from Harvard University that I've done research with that can speak to that. But then what is the solution behind it? It's not the end-all, be-all, right? We become depressed because we feel like there's no answer. So I want to be a bridge to the answer, right? I wasn't like this when I first came out of the league. I had impairment. Bro, I was processing. I was speaking very slow. I was very lethargic in some of the things that I do. My reaction time wasn't as fast. But then when I really started working on my brain health, I'm a lot better than what I was in 2019. So I know what I speak and what I say, this stuff works. So that's why I just really want the NFL to push more for the education behind it, because you're not going to be able to get guys to stop playing. We don't want guys to stop playing. But if they are going to play, let's give them the remedies, the things that are going to help them live a long life.
Amen. Amen. Marcus, keep it going.
I got you, bro.
Keep it going. It's needed. It's much needed. And from brother to brother, thank you, man.
I appreciate you too, bro.
Man.
Yeah.
Glad you're doing
Everybody
well,
out there, follow Marcus Smith out there. Can they find you on Twitter, Instagram, or anything like that?
Yeah, Instagram is, everybody call me Money Mart. So it's Money Mart 91 on Instagram. Twitter is Marcus Smith II.
And the biggest question is, how can you be safe in a game so violent?
Oh, safe? That's a very good one.
How can you be safe in a game so violent? Just letting you know our personalities.
Right.
I think I got into
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
I got into the wrong place.
We'll take care of you. We'll take care of you.
Jeff Miller. Now, your official title is VP, Vice President of Safety. Talk about that.
Yeah, I lead our communications efforts at the league, but also spend most of my time on player health and safety.
Okay.
So looking at ways to make the game safer, understanding injuries on field, understanding equipment, surfaces, playing rules, and certainly engaging with the trainers and the doctors and others to try to make the game as safe as possible for the people who play it.
Well, let's start off. That was a pretty good answer. Let's start off as if you and I were in the elevator right now.
Yeah.
The elevator is going to take us 60 seconds to get to the top.
Okay.
Explain to us right now what the league is doing right now to make this game safer.
Sure. Well, there's a number of different work streams we have against equipment, against understanding injuries, against rehabbing players, against getting them, making sure that they're in the best possible shape they can be when they play the game. And one of the things that we use as a metric to understand whether we're making any advances is the number of player games lost during a year. So a player misses a game for whatever injury, that counts as one. This past year, in 2023, we saved 700 player game lost over the year before. So that equates to 2 to 3 guys being available on Sundays that weren't available a year ago. So that's fewer lower extremity injuries, that's maybe fewer concussions, that may be fewer other injuries, so that players are healthier with a very real metric, meaning they're available to play on Sundays than they were a year ago.
Wow. What do you mean by you save players? Like, what did you guys do to keep players?
Yeah, KJ, I'll give you one really good example. About a year and a half ago, or maybe 2 years ago, we had a better appreciation for how many injuries were occurring right at the beginning of training camp. You remember that time,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Those
yeah.
first 10 days are terrible from an injury perspective, right? It's intense. You guys ramp up super fast. The pads come on. And when I look at the injury rates for players in those circumstances, the injury rate is the highest at any point during the year. Is that right at the beginning of training camp?
Yes.
You guys are suffering hamstring strains, calf strains, all the
Groins.
things. And those things, groins, there are 2 players on every team who suffer an injury at the first part of training camp. That injury, soft tissue injury, that dogs them throughout the entire season. Those injuries recur. And throughout the year, guys miss. And so what we did, working with the Players Association, all of this is done collaboratively, is we put limitations on the sorts of activities that players can engage in at the first part of the preseason, the training camp, ramping up a little bit by day. And what we saw was in the first year, we saw about a 25% decrease in some of those lower extremity injury rates. That continued year 2. And interestingly, I talk about recurrence. You had a hamstring pull the first 10 days and it came back. We saw those drop by 50% this year based on the way the players were trained when they came back to training camp. And so when I say about saving time, guys were more available as a result of some of the things that we were doing. That seems kind of rational. Hey, look, let's not jump right into full contact practices. Let's not go. That makes sense. But until you actually create the rules around it, that doesn't necessarily happen.
Yeah. And there's 2 type of tackles that is happening around the league, right? You have the tackle where they call it the hip drop tackle.
Yes.
Where you grab a guy and you fall on him.
Yes.
And there's another tackle where a guy's coming across the middle, the safety's coming from here. We're seeing safeties go low.
Yes.
And to my understanding, it's been a big concern with those 2 type of tackles. Where are we at going forward with protecting guys and at the same time making sure the defender has a chance to bring down the guy?
Yeah, it's a really timely question because as we go into the offseason, we'll be talking, my team on the health and safety side, we'll be talking to the competition committee, the rules-making committee, and the Players Association who engages with us on all this about potential rules changes. What we identified in the hip drop tackle, which is a relatively new finding for us, is that when players engage in hip drop tackle, dragging a guy down, deleveraging their legs and landing on the ball carrier's legs, we see an injury rate 25 times higher than your average tackle. 25 times. And that's not just any injury. These are broken bones. These are high ankle sprains. These are big time loss injuries that lead to a problem. And so like we took out past years, blindside blocks. We took out crackback blocks.
Cutting on the perimeter?
Cutting on the perimeter.
Thank you.
We took out some of those things. And that yielded more player availability, more health. Now, it's not easy, right? For a defensive player to say, I got to get the guy down any which way I can. And so if it's dragging a guy down, that may be part of it. So there's an educational piece to this, and we need to spend time with the coaches and the players so that they better appreciate that. And so the hip drop will be something we talk about over the next month to say, how do we get this out of the game? And it's not about penalizing anybody. It's just about making players safer. And so if we can eliminate it without fining anybody or putting a flag on the field, that would be fine. But it has to come out, from my perspective, as the health and safety person, and it's a debate that we need to have.
Yes.
A lot of people right now, the argument that's going around the country, I used to have it too, is grass versus turf.
Sure.
And one of the things that I just recently saw that when it comes to grass and turf, it kind of offsets. It's not really one over the other. I want you to talk about that and put that question to bed a little bit because a lot of people have it.
Look, this is a hard one. And we do all of our work. We actually have a committee, what we call it the Joint Surfaces Committee with the Players Association, where they have doctors, they have engineers, we have doctors, we have engineers who analyze all of these injuries, look at surfaces, cleats too, and say, okay, what about this surface may or may not lead to more injuries? And we track the injuries. And this year, you just referenced it in 2023, there was almost no difference between grass and synthetic. If you look at all synthetics as a whole and all grass as a whole, the differential injury rate for your listeners was 0.001, which equates to like 6 or 7 injuries per year for the entire season. So it's hardly anything. Some years it's a little bit more. And you combine that, that's the injury rate. But you combine that with some players saying, hey, I don't love playing on synthetics. I don't feel as good the next day, right? And then you add to that performance. When can I cut? Because obviously you can cut easier on synthetics. More you can predict it. Right, and so you have to you stick. Right, you get in and out of your cuts faster. It's more predictable than grass, where it might be slippery or something like that. So you have to look at injury. You want to look at performance, and you want to look at player feel. And all of those things matter. And so to put those all into a mix and find a way to minimize injuries and still allow the players to perform is a hard thing to do. So what we're doing is we're taking a look at all the injuries where they occur with the Players Association and saying, okay, are there parts about certain fields? Are there certain fields that have too much infill? Are there certain surfaces that are too soft? Are there certain surfaces that are too hard? What can we do? And also one of our goals is, real quickly, is there are, and KJ knows this, there are 30 different surfaces in our stadiums. Like each one plays differently from the next. Wouldn't it be better if a player could know when he was going to go play on a synthetic surface that it was going to feel like the same synthetic surface he played on the week before instead of feeling different? Wouldn't his body adjust to that faster? And same for grass. the grass field that you play on in Chicago in December is going to feel a little different than Miami in September.
Absolutely.
Right? And we need to figure out how it's going to feel more the same so that your body can react to it. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I think we're heading in the right direction. The injury rate is important to us, really important, and players need to know that the differential there or the lack thereof, but also these other parts are important to players are worthy of our research too.
Yeah, and Jeff, when I played, I suffered 2 concussions. One of them, it happened. The second one, I was seeing stars, like my head was spinning. And me personally, I was not feeling good until Saturday. Like I had the concussion Sunday, wasn't feeling good until Saturday. Where are we at? Because I'm a person that advocate in, if you get a concussion, you have brain trauma, your brain is rattled, I feel like there's no reason why you should be playing the following Sunday.
On average, players miss a game with a concussion. The median number of days is 8.5 or so that you miss.
For the other guys, though.
So what we do, listen, I hear the argument a lot, and it's a good point. What we do at the league, and again, these protocols are agreed upon with the Players Association, there is a standard set of steps, as you know, that you need to pass to return to participation. So it's a 5-step process. It's in the medical experts would tell you that's sort of what the international standards are. You're signed off by an independent doctor, as you know. In addition to your team physician, you have to pass all those tests. You have to increase your activity. You have to make sure that symptoms don't recur. You have to keep moving through that process, and then an independent doctor has to sign off and say you've recovered from the concussion. And so what we try to do as often as possible is defer to the medical experts and say, okay, if the team doctor, if the independent doctor, if all these other people are looking at you and they say, in my medical judgment, I agree that you're recovered and you've passed these steps, which are what the protocol says, then we're good with that. Now, on average, that takes longer than a week, but players can return. Yeah.
Can we add to the protocol, give me 3 days of practice? Because I feel like we need to put them in a situation to where you have the anxiety, you have the heart beating fast, you have the contact, you have your eyes moving, you have a football simulated movement versus looking at a computer, typing up something, reciting your ABCs backwards. Can we formulate more of a football scenario before guys actually go back and play in a comeback sport?
I think that's a good conversation worth having. I think that one of the steps in the protocol is that you're supposed to participate in a practice, and you're not, and your symptoms shouldn't recur. Now, how active that practice is will probably depend on the coach and the day, as you know.
Walk through.
Right.
You walk through.
Right. No, for sure. And certainly as you get later in the season, there's fewer and fewer contact practices, and Seattle is renowned for not having a lot of contact practices late in the year, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So is that something worth considering? Yeah. We're open to ideas from all comers and to talk about that a little bit, sure.
And do you guys have meetings with current players, with former players, or is it mostly with doctors and you guys as staff? Do you guys bring in former athletes to converse?
It's more with the Players Association as a whole.
Okay.
So we do meet with the executive committee when we talk about rules changes and such. There are, by our CBA, there is NFLPA representation on all medical committees, whether it be an engineering committee or our head, neck, and spine, the ones responsible for the protocol, or those who are taking a look at hamstring injuries, that kind of musculoskeletal injuries. The PA is represented in all of those. Who attends? It's usually for sure a doctor, sometimes an engineer. And if players want to attend, then that's sort of up to the PA to decide.
Okay.
Speaking, since we're talking about concussions, let's go on to something that I have been seeing a little bit here and there. I think it's going to be more popular later on. I want to talk about you call them guardian caps?
Sure.
And what we are seeing. Your thoughts on that, and explain that to all of our viewers that are listening.
Okay,
right now.
a guardian cap is, for lack of a better description, kind of a goofy-looking thing that you put on top of your helmet.
Mushroom.
It's a mushroom. It's a mushroom.
Right.
That's actually the best explanation. And so it is an aftermarket device added on top of a helmet, and it came to our attention, a few years ago. We tested those in a lab to say what kind of forces would they mitigate, and they weren't particularly good. So we went back to the company for NFL purposes. They may have benefits for youth football or others. I'm not suggesting that. We went back to the guardian cap and said, hey, look, we know the sort of impacts on fields that cause concussions in NFL players because we've studied and broken down against a million variables, all of these things, the forces, how frequently, the location on the helmet, the dynamics, the play types, on and on. And so we said to Guardian Cap, here's a set of data, design something that will better protect an NFL football player. And they came back and we tested it in the lab, and we found that if both players are wearing a Guardian Cap, that it lessens the force of each individual blow by about 20%. which is pretty good because players do suffer any number of impacts to the helmet, especially linemen, during the course of a practice or the season. And so we mandated it for last year for the first time, a year ago, and we saw that the concussion rate, although we didn't really expect this, we were just talking about every hit, we weren't thinking about concussions. The concussion rate for players who wore them dropped by 50%. And then this year, this preseason, same thing. 50% decrease in concussions for those positions who wore them.
Yeah.
So
only during practice, not
only during practice.
Yeah, right. Not
only during
game.
practice. There were problems, as you know, as a player. Some of them would come off, they would slip. Other guys. So operationally, we need to get it right with this thing. And so this is year 2. There's still some room to grow with it and to fix it. But in terms of those practices, especially the ones where there's a lot of contact in the preseason, we saw a huge benefit to player health.
And it only makes sense. If you take 2 helmets and you smack them together, that's going to make a big collision. If you put a cushion on the outside of both of them, it only makes sense. You got protection on the outside, you got protection on the inside.
Correct.
That for sure lessens the blow.
And what we were concerned about, and the reason we did some lab testing is, if there were a lot of friction between those 2 Guardian caps, was that going to cause more force to your neck? Were you going to transfer something? Because the heads might stick together.
Will it go down?
Yeah, would the heads stick together a little bit longer? The beauty of 2 NFL helmets is that they glance off. Your point is they hit hard, but they glance off each other. There's no friction. So those loads, that energy doesn't transfer. And with a Guardian cap, if it's stuck for a second, is it loading? Are we getting more
stingers?
More stingers. Yeah, exactly. And we didn't see it. By the way, 2 years, we haven't seen an increase. And so that's the concern, because you don't ever want to introduce something that's going to have some other negative side effect, which is a concern of ours.
All right.
You got a hard job, man.
You guys have a hard job. You're going hard on safety now for like 10 minutes. That's pretty good.
My last question. Guys getting ejected from the games.
Okay.
We see in college, I think college is horrible.
Oh, it's horrible.
Horrendous.
Yeah, I'm glad you're not the safety person for college, because I'd be getting on you right now. But okay.
But guys getting ejected from an NFL game. What is something that, like, when a play happens, you got to get up out of here. We can't have you no longer participate in the game.
You know, those sorts of hits where you have a defenseless receiver, where, as an example, I know as a defensive player you're gonna take issue with it. Where a player has options.
Where a player has options.
Where a player has options.
Defender has options.
The defender has options, and chooses to endanger another player's health, right? Chooses not to pursue that option that would avoid it.
Okay.
Those things rise to the level of concern. And our football operations group takes a look at these plays, as you know, on Sundays and Mondays, and that's where you get warnings and fines. And ejections on field are uncommon, but they do happen for plays that sort of follow what I outlined.
And who's the guy in the booth? Who's the guy in New York that's saying, get him out of here?
That's Troy Vincent and John Runyon.
Oh, Troy Vincent.
Troy.
Yeah. I wonder if Troy would have kicked himself out of the game.
This is no secret. You guys know. You knew it was Troy.
I knew John was a fine guy.
John is the fine guy, but he's standing there watching this with Troy.
Learned something new. Okay.
Okay, you guys call them after this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks
Truly
for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Take care.
We got our first legend.
Man, come on,
What's
man.
good?
How long you been out?
I've been out 09, so like 15, 16 years.
Hey, bro, look at you. Man, what's your workout plan?
Man, workout plan, first thing in the morning, I'm hitting a dynamic warm-up first. Foam roll first, dynamic warm-up. And then day one, like Mondays, a cardio, and I hit a light dumbbell workout, 30-pound dumbbells, nothing too heavy. I'm not running through y'all anymore. I'm not running through you, trying to run through some people like you no more. I'm just trying to get up out the bed and functional.
You foam
Amon,
yeah, foam roll, bro.
You look absolutely incredible, but it's the diet, man.
That too.
Come on, man.
So this is within the diet area, because my wife loves to cook. She's a great cook. Bacon. So cookies, man, it's ridiculous.
Catfish?
So,
you said catfish?
Everything. So if I don't work. One motivation is I know with all the good food and good cooking, I gotta move. I gotta work out in the morning. If not, because my boys come over, they're like, "Hey, G, man, why are you like overweight right now? Marie cooking up all this. You be eating?" I said, "No, I don't eat every day." You know. But then the other part of it, so my wife and a couple of my daughters are vegan, so I gotta alternate between. You know, are you gonna go to Raising Cane's, or we gonna do a veggie night tonight? So, so it's just like, so during the week, what I did, we didn't do a whole lot of this. I was like, all right, Monday through Friday, I'm with y'all.
Okay.
Saturday
weekend.
and Sunday. Weekends.
That's yours.
That's
I
where
gotta
he's the
go.
king.
Okay.
I got to hit it up. I'm in Texas now, so I got to
Okay.
find the brisket,
Yeah.
spot or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, that's why. And I took it serious. Just like that part of me hasn't went away from the football field when I was in the locker room. That mindset of knowing this is my office. The office got to stay clean. That means being top shape. Mentally, physically, get my sleep 8 to 10 hours, all that stuff. And so I took that. That was one thing I took away, like the football part of it, in terms of making sure when I'm done, I got that same mindset towards working out.
Yeah.
Because none of us, we get done, and it's like guys was like, man, I ain't gonna want to walk near a weight room. I don't want to get on the treadmill.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I was like, for one, this is gonna help my health, and keep me where I got a granddaughter. Look, I want to play with her and her kids. So that's same big goals I had as an athlete. I got as a dad, a father, entrepreneur. Out there to keep myself in shape.
Well, grandparents
be ready
don't look the same no more. Man,
Granddaddy.
I saw you
He's the
slip that in there.
granddaddy.
Ooh, did you call him the granddaddy?
Granddaddy.
Pause.
Hey, Amon, I really want to hit on this. We look at the Super Bowl. We got CMC,
Yep.
who I personally believe should be the MVP of the league.
Agree.
You got Pacheco.
I agree with that.
You got
I agree with
Pacheco.
that.
Seventh round out of Rutgers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got two really dynamic running backs. I really want to break down to the people, to the viewers,
Yeah.
the importance of the running back position.
Man.
What they bring to the table from obviously running the ball, catching
Right.
the ball,
Yep.
but picking up blitzes. Understand that the quarterback needs you, the team needs you to be on point because the offense can be centered around you.
Yeah.
Can you really break down, obviously, when you play, but when you see a CMC, when you see one of these
Yes.
running backs now, what's so important about this running back position?
I mean, it's important because it's basically we're the glue. So we get moving first. So run game established. Some of the coaches I play with, offensive coordinators, they wanted to get the run game established in 4 to 5 plays.
Hold up, stop. In the first 4 to 5 plays?
First 4 to 5 plays.
Time out, let me stop you there. How you go get something established in the first 4 to 5 plays? What if it don't work?
Well, that's where we're going to crack different runs, like one outside zone, see if that works, inside zone, just to kind of start softening up the defense.
Okay.
And see how they react to that.
Okay.
Then when you have a guy like me that's going to average 4.5 a carry, and I'm 220, I got a fullback, William Henderson, in front of me. He's 255.
Okay.
That's the early tenderizing going on.
Tenderize.
So
okay.
So you're opening up the defense.
exactly.
Open
And
up the
then
defense.
third or fourth, like after that fourth, like say if it's 3 plays, we got the run game established. That means we went positive in all 3 plays. All right, now we're going to start making them think play action, then go back and forth between play action, some pass routes, and running the ball. Because one thing is, I know a defender, if y'all could get any information that tells you, okay, the ball's going to the left, it's going to be a screen to that guy, y'all going to take it and go. So we're going to make you – so I remember Tom Rossi, our offensive coordinator, when I first got to Green Bay for the first 3-4 years, that was the mindset, is don't make it easy. And if anything, if the coaches forgot, we remind them, say, Coach, hey, we got, remember, our run game right now, number count is right now 5 to 10 passes, so let's get that, so we will remind them I'll say more in practice because of the play calling, just to say, hey, we're playing the Bears this weekend. We know we got to deal with 54, but 55, both of them, if we keep him from doing, they get him to run over top because he's trying to get behind the outside zone play to tackle me. So let's we got to beat up the middle first, and then everything else kind of opens up for everybody else.
But so the thing is that I'm glad you're bringing this up because I'm trying to understand, because it feels like some offensive coordinators around the league forget that about the run game.
No, you're right.
Like really easy. So. And then you look at the playoffs, and literally the team that wins will be the team that can run the ball.
Yes.
100%.
People talk about Mahomes all the time. People talk about Brock Purdy all the time, have this conversation. You got to talk about the run game.
You have to.
Why, then, do you believe that coaches are forgetting that? Going out there, throwing the ball.
Oh, I know the answer.
That's an easy answer.
Putting Lamar Jackson in a situation where his running back ran it 3 times.
Yeah.
How is that possible? And they get paid for that. I ain't trying to be disrespectful.
Right.
So what happens?
I've heard thousands of coaches. No, I'll say thousands. A few, about a dozen. I say coaches say, they want to try something different. They want to try to mix it up a little bit mix up what? What are you trying to mix up here? We got established run game, and now we pretty much could choose any pass play at any point. Our guys, somebody's gonna come open because we got either full committal or half committal of the linebackers. Because it's just one of y'all commit on a play action,
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. So they get caught in what we know what the league is now is a passing league. Like they got the 6-foot+ wide receivers that run just as fast as the running backs, and then they got size that some of the tight ends or the tackles in the league, and they're going up to strong arm the ball. But then they know quarterbacks know throwing the ball it could get intercepted or not intercepted PI real fast. Then boom, you got a new set of down, and then just the flavor of the month. Run game doesn't look sexy right now.
This is what we got.
That's where we're at.
This is what we got to understand about the NFL. I believe we need to look at the NFL differently. Guys, this is an entertainment business.
Boom. And that's why I said sexy.
This is an entertainment business. There's no more of the Mike Allstocks, the Emmitt Smiths, the hand the ball up 20, 30 times.
Grind it out. None of that.
These people want their money.
But I don't. If you want your money and you have no run game, you have no job.
True. And they figuring it out, and that's where they get in trouble.
But no. But what they do, they try to keep their job by doing what's sexy, doing what's trendy, airing the ball up and down the football field. They're trying to keep their job.
Yeah.
You think these coaches want to bring in this boring, old for life? Why do you think the Seahawks interviewing Chip Kelly? This is a new day and age, G.
Yeah, right.
It's a new.
Okay. But is it a new day? Because it's still the same thing. The winning teams can run the ball.
You're right. You're right.
So it's a new game.
It just coaches around the league. They have their game plans, and I say tie with what we're talking about in terms of the look of today. We know it's a passing league. We know that, but the teams, as we've seen over every Super Bowl playoff run teams, those teams run the ball. Some in more of a 30% capacity.
Yeah.
And then after that, what they got? A defense that's rock hard. They're not going to let you go do anything, run or pass. And that's what we have. And so eventually, how I adjusted to my game is when I saw somebody doing something as a running back that I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. I might put that in my game. I say, hey, I game recognize game, homie. So I'm going to be like, I'm going to go, hey, John Harbaugh, hey, Andy Reid, can I come visit for a week or two?
Oh.
I'm a young coach.
Yeah.
I don't know everything. Hey, you perennial in the Super Bowl. You're perennial. Bill. Hey, Bill, what's up? You got some time on your hands right now.
Yeah.
Can we conversate for a second?
Give us some running backs. Give us 3 to 5, or whatever you want to call out.
Right.
Running backs that you said, I took from his game. I took from this game.
That's easy.
I took from that game.
Oh, man. I start with, for me, the OG, two of them, actually, two OGs, Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith. And then I have Bo. Took some stuff from his game because of my size and speed. Marcus Allen, the way he caught the ball at the backfield, the way he was a guy that did it all. He was a fullback for like 2 to 3 years. And didn't like it, but did not complain about it.
Right.
And then as I grew up watching, like I said, I mentioned Emmitt already, but then getting myself close. Even the guys I played along with, I watched.
Yeah.
Like I saw Marshawn last year in an event, and he's like, "What's up, bruh? What's up, old school, bruh?" I said, "Bruh." I said when he got between him and Buffalo, getting his first couple of years in Seattle, putting it down, and of course the baby Quake, watching that, and he's like, "Hey, what kind of?"
Who the baby Quake?
No. The Beastquake.
Beastquake.
Oh,
I
Beastquake.
mean Beastquake.
Yeah, okay.
What actually was like pretty cool was when I met him, he said, "Hey, old school, I was just doing that because I was watching you," and I'm like, wow. Really? I appreciate you, bro. I was like, so, because it just, we pass it on, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's probably young players that watch you play the linebacker, same thing. So when he said that, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I saw Fred Taylor and Bobby Wagner conversing. Bobby went on their podcast, and Fred Taylor said, well, I wanted some of y'all LOB defense. He said, I would have wanted that action. When you look at KJ Wright, Bobby Wagner, Brandon Mebane, the Cam Chancellor, and you was playing running back.
Right.
Over under 50 yards.
Oh, over. I'm eating, bro.
Okay, I give you over, but eating?
I ain't going to lie. I mean,
I like
man.
my you know what my mindset, you asked me this before we went on. My mindset when I put that helmet on, like in the locker room, I'm this. Guys didn't know I had an evil bone in my body.
Yeah.
I put that helmet on.
Uh-huh.
You know who my favorite superhero is? His name's Batman.
But you go to the dark side.
Man, dark side.
I feel your energy right now.
Right. Do you
feel it?
Yes.
You
yes,
feel
I
me?
do. Matter of fact, no. I saw the vein.
Hey.
I saw the vein, bro.
and it was interesting. So linebackers, I was like, this is part of my job. Like I took like, you know how you got lawyers, doctors, they got their creed, their code of honor. So my thing was basically never die easy.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do it for 4 quarters.
What you mean never die easy?
Walter Payton said it every day. That means when a guy comes and tackle me, he can't do it by himself. He got to bring the whole 10 guys of that defense. If I'm hurt, I got to play through it the best to my ability. And eventually if I got to put myself out, put myself out. But until that moment, do what I can. That means if I'm hurt, I've had high ankle sprains. What's a high ankle sprain? I would just be in that game toting the rock. So whatever I got to do within my mental and physical, I'm about to do it. And then if you're in front of me, it might be a problem for you.
Amon, are you a part of this era where I experienced this in college where we lived off of Toradol?
No. Nope.
You weren't a Toradol guy?
No, my brothers would kick my butt.
Really?
My brothers taught me body weight workouts and learning how to lift weights. So I knew I got asked that in high school plenty of times. AG, you got to be on it. I'm like, no, my brothers would destroy me because
they found out.
Because they taught me everything I need to know about getting stronger, working my body out, and all that. So no.
Now, I'm going to say something that I'm glad I'm able to say it now. When you played, I just kept thinking year after year after year, and I said to myself, when is this dude ever going to fall off? No, I'm being for real.
Right.
Because you started out, and then you start just getting better. What were you doing to extend your career? There has to be something, some secret sauce you had that you was doing to extend your career.
No.
You kept getting better.
Right. It's no secret. It's hard work. It's dedication. I see Ricky during my time. I see Ricky Waters. I see Ricky Williams. I see Sean Alexander. Trying to think who else was around my time. Anthony Thomas. It was in Chicago for a little bit.
Sean Alexander.
Sean. I said Sean. Just guys during my era. I look at them and like, what are they? I know they're doing something. I see Freddie T. I know he's running sand hills or he's got count. Like I remember Marshawn one time. Another time we met, he talked about how he runs on the sand in combat boots and Timberlands.
I heard about that.
I was like, that's why your ankle's strong. He said, you got right. You right about that, OG. I'm like, okay. So I knew they were doing stuff. My one dream though I had as more of a be a teammate without being a teammate thing. So you're running, you compete against other players. So it's like I wanted to get stuff together where kind of like what Kittle's doing with tight ends. Having all the running backs get together because having our training regimen. I mean, I heard what AP used to do. Adrian Peterson when he did in the offseason.
Oh yeah.
I knew what I did. I looked for hills, and I had a weight program that I used from when I was in college. So I still had that. So it's just putting us together, man. It was just would have been.
Does that type of mentality? Gee, I'm asking you this too. Does that exist in 2024? That old school, I'm gonna work, eliminate distraction.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, but.
I say
you ready?
To me, little.
Yeah. Yes, but. It happens in college. It's not happening with y'all. I'll tell you from a fan's perspective, from the outside perspective, here's why it's not. It's harder to happen for y'all because you guys don't have those old school things. You were mandatory being at the facility more. Your OTAs were longer.
Yeah.
Now that is short. We talked about earlier with Jeff Miller, with the vice president for safety for the NFL, and we talked about most injuries in the NFL happen when? The first 10 days of training camp. Well, why is that? Because you guys aren't in the building that much. So a lot of guys are not working as much, so they get in that first window of 10 days, and the small tissues, the hamstrings, the strained calves, and all those things. So I'm not saying, how about this? Let me just say this again, so I'm not disrespectful. I'm not saying that there aren't guys that work. What I am saying is I think that there is less and less of those guys that are really putting the work in, for real in the offseason.
Yes.
Is that fair?
That's fair. That's fair.
And I just look at, is it the distractions? Is it the money that they get? Like, what's really keeping guys from really just dialing in to take care of business and everything will take care of itself?
It's a different generation, mindset-wise, right? I'm Gen X, I believe, or we Gen X.
Yep. Yeah, we Gen X, millennial.
Yeah, you're millennials, and then so millennials is between your age and maybe 10 years down, and I teach and coach at the college level. And so at my level, which is between millennials and Gen Zs, where there is a part that you don't see like you're talking about.
Yeah.
When you have a little bump in the road, oh, that's all right. You know what? Cool, I got this. Didn't pass the test. No problem. I got to study hard next time.
Yeah.
That part is not being grown, not being cultivated. You know what I'm saying? And that's scary. It's scary, ain't it?
Yeah.
It's scary, ain't it?
Yeah.
And so it's not just in students. It's in art. We got student athletes too.
Yeah.
So just it's something that where with the right type of coaching,
bring it out.
It'll bring it out. And teaching, coaching, or mentorship, whoever's around them can bring it out.
So, man, how can people hear all this knowledge? Is it Amon Green's Gamers Lounge?
Yeah, so this is where I'm talking about the video game space. Amon Green's Gamers Lounge. I record live on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard, but I might be changing my time because I got another show I'm going to be doing locally, the Amon Green Show on the ticket that's right over here. And then myself, a couple of my old teammates, Dorsey 11 and Gilbert Brown, we record ours out. We get one out a week on the alumni media. So we've been doing that.
What game?
What game? What game?
What are you playing?
Oh, Madden and Halo right now. And then coaching.
Let's play Madden. Well, you got the system out here?
Yeah, it's in my room. I don't have it here right
I
now.
thought
You've been a gamer for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I travel. I had the game cases since they started coming out.
Wait, I want to make sure we got this straight. So you traveled with yours.
Oh, yeah.
Did you travel with yours? Then you ain't. Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know if he that. See, speaking of, you brought up, I'm glad, segue, Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
What's up, man?
What you see with Green Bay this year?
I want to apologize. Jordan Love, sorry, man. I was disrespectful. I'm going to check my Twitter. I'm going to erase some of the things I said. I had no idea. Sorry.
What you see with the Packers this year, and are they close to making some for real noise? They need to add some more pieces. What you like, what you don't like, what they need to add.
I say they're definitely close for making some noise. I say really pieces. So far, I know they got AJ and Aaron Jones coming back.
Dylan,
good to confirm that. For a fan's sake and GM business sake, hope he sticks to that because I know things could change come draft, come free agency.
Yeah.
So having that, and I know the receivers ain't going nowhere because a lot of these receivers are first-year receivers. So if you letting go of first receiver, especially
Reed, Watson,
you got Reed who probably had more yards than everybody. I think
he let the receiving core
right, and then Dobbs though is to me, he's the sleeper. I watched him his rookie year. I'm standing on the sidelines at training camp of his rookie year. He's head-to-head with Eric Stokes, starting corner at that time, who had 2-3 years under their belt. It's goal line situation, and they're going to pass the ball. They split him out to the wide. He's the outside receiver, so he's right. I'm like maybe from here to my man behind the camera, so I'm right there. So I'm just like, ooh. I was like, ooh, I get to see something. Get to see something, right? Because I got first-round Eric Stokes, Romeo Dobbs, third or fourth round, something like that. I'm like, but – all honors in his conference, right? He got awards, and he went to Reno, I believe. And so I'm like, let me see this kid. And sure enough, work, E. Stokes, got a split open, was able to get the touchdown on the goal line. I said, that's the dude. I said, because young round, if it may be because of the fact he went lower, but what I saw from his college record stated that he's going to be a guy that's going to show up. He's going to be that guy, hey, man, I need you to get open. Your quarterback will give you that look where the quarterback said,
love giving you that.
I need to get you. Can you get open for me? He's that guy. And I called it. They were both rookies with him and Watson. And Watson he's got to make sure he get his legs right, keep the hamstrings from always, straining all that because he's a problem. He's going to take the over the top because all that's take the defense top off. And then Romeo and Reed, everybody else, they could just run free. Not run free, but run to get open and create more problems for defenses trying to block it. And they young on top of that.
Should they have suspended Jair Alexander for what he did?
What'd you say? What was the first part?
Should they have suspended?
Should they have? From a coaching standpoint and even a leadership standpoint, if I'm on that squad, yes.
You would have been like,
I'm okay with that because we know his game level, right? It was something, though, he did that was probably in the rules or the guidelines of the squad. So just going by the book, he knows the consequences. If he did or didn't, I don't know. But from game recognition, because we were just talking motivation for these kids today, and we got to display ourselves in a certain way. So why are we going to allow that? We know he's the best corner on the team. But it's just simple rules. You violate it, you got to sit down. And that's where you send a message to younger athletes.
The standard of the franchise.
Exactly.
Okay.
Amon, you ever cheer for the Seahawks still, man?
Yes, I do.
I just want to make sure.
Man, that was the team that got me going.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I'm not a Packer. I'm not a Texan. I'm not now a legend because of the Seahawks, right?
Okay.
Randy Mueller was the GM at that time, and Dennis Erickson was the coach. And then they draft me, they get Michael Black, and then they bring in Ricky Waters from the Eagles at that time. So, in my head, I'm like, man, they really trying to, bring a run. We need a run game here or something. They got me. I was like, I know Ricky Waters. He been to the chip a couple times and got a couple rings. And so I understood, like, I'm coming in a place where I'm coming from, right? We won 2 national titles. I'm thinking that's a mindset, culture that I'm coming from. So I'm like, okay, Ricky's been there. So I'm like, get there. And so get it going, man. It was just something really, is all I say. 1, a learning experience. Yeah. And then 2, just you kind of see where, cultures change. Because, when I first got there, Seattle wasn't the Seattle that we know, that you know. It was a culture that was a little bit different.
Huskies was bigger than the Seahawks.
Exactly. And so that recognized where, that's where I started to learn that, looking at the coaching I had in Lincoln, Nebraska, and then comparing them to the coaches, like right away, I'm already seeing what coaches had to deal with. Right away, Dennis Erickson's head was on the table. We got to go to the playoffs or he's gone. They're saying this I think right after the draft from the media. After they draft me and all those guys, it's like, man, it's a different level. Yeah. But you can't let the moment be higher than you. Being the coach or being a player at that higher level, because then you'll forget what got you there. Yeah. The hard work, the dedication, knowing when, okay, I got to cut out, or knowing when I got to make the right decision. That's where it starts slipping away, and that's where you come in these, I say franchises. Then sometimes you have that little, like, don't know what's going on with the coaching. So.
Well, Lamont,
yeah,
appreciate you, dog.
Man, appreciate you.
Hey, PlayStation or Xbox?
Both. I'm ambidextrous with consoles.
But you didn't bring both consoles, did you?
No, I got Xbox with me. And I got Switch with me. Switch, because
I don't play Xbox.
I'm
gonna send you my gamer tag and smack you in Madden.
Okay. I like the trash talk. I love it.
I ain't that good.
Do you go to a dark place there too?
Nah, it's games. I can't.
Okay.
You can. It's not physical.
Okay.
I say the most physical.
Smack me in Madden.
for the most physical game thing about holding a control in your hand is when if you press the analog stick too much, you start getting your skin a little blister on your thumb. That's about it.
Who wins on Sunday? Big game.
Who wins on Sunday? I say right now. Going off of what I see, what my eyes have shown me for the last 3-4 weeks of football, the team with the most experience in this situation, like I was just telling you, this moment's not going to be like, oh my God, I'm happy we're here. They don't have that. Not say that 49ers have that mindset. I'm saying that it's a different, it's like, it's a Super Bowl. Just like I remember my freshman year going to the national title in the Fiesta Bowl against the Gators. I'm a freshman. I pretty much did most of the carrying that season. LP got in trouble, so I had to take over. They put me in the spot, really, so thank you to Coach Solis, Coach Osborne. But knowing once we got to that game, it was like, wait a minute, this was our goal. This was our team goal. Yeah. So why do I need to be anxious, nervous, overthink something? I'm going to do the same thing I did in game 1 in game number 13 right now down here in Arizona, because what I did in game 1 was I took the handoff, picked up some yards, touchdown or whatever, picked up the blitz. I'm going to do the same thing in this game against these Gators. So then you're going to be that guy. That's where beast mode.
Every game a championship opportunity.
You got your interception against the Broncos, right? Took it to, stuff like that.
That was Malcolm.
Huh?
That was Malcolm.
Oh, so my bad. I knew it was one of y'all.
Yeah.
But those moments happen because you don't let the Super Bowl put you up in the stands.
Right.
You're in there. You're focused.
Right.
Oh, it's for 31. Oh, that's a run formation. They don't see this corner cat, as the DB. So that's where you keep, because all the players, all the athletes we call Hall of Famers, GOATs in other sports, that's that mindset. Because if you're going to win championships, you can't let the championship game, just the name,
be big.
Be bigger than you. No.
Pete taught y'all that.
All right, he got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs.
I got Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs.
It's going to be rough.
All right, man.
Appreciate you.
We appreciate you,
for
fam.
sure.
Thank you.
See y'all in person. Been watching y'all on TikTok too long. I love being on it now.
Appreciate you. I want to just get into it. You know what I mean? Before we get into the football player that you were and all that kind of stuff, I want to talk about currently right now. When I see you all over, you're talking about the sport, the game of the sport of MMA. Talk about what you've been doing in that world.
Yeah, man. I started training myself back in 2005, 2006 in that offseason because I just want to get better on my hands. So Jay Glazer, my man over at Fox Sports, has said, I think, I grew up boxing. So my uncles were professional boxers back in PG County in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And so I grew up boxing in the first place around boxers, but MMA started to get big around that mid-2000s. So my first day training, man, I went out and started training with Randy Couture. That was my first day in the gym with Randy Couture, you know. And
How'd
so,
that go?
We ain't gonna talk about that. We work. I'm gonna keep it at that. But what I learned from Randy, man, that time it was just the balance in how he was able to move my body and use his hands and do different stuff. And I was like, man, this is very key for me. And I came out in that 2006 season, led the league in sacks, and I really believe that my hands have gotten so much better. You know, fast forward, I'm training with all the big guys, all the big names around that time period during the all season. And I ended up launching my when I got into TV, straight when I retired, NFL Network, Fox Sports, ESPN, and so I understood TV, right? So now I know I've been around these fighters, I know the sport, know the game, and I also understand TV and production. So that's how we started to. When I decided to go and launch Lights Out Extreme Fighting, we're now on Fubo TV's Fubo. So we got a big fight next Friday, February 16th, in Long Beach, California. And we got some big name dudes that's coming up that's going to be stars in the sport, and that's how we differ, man. We want to grow these guys, right? We want to find the young Conor McGregors, the young Ronda Rouseys, the young John Joneses, and kind of turn them into superstars. And a lot of these guys end up going to the UFC, which we cool with.
Yeah, and Sean, I asked you before the show. You said you're going on 11 years removed from the game. I'm going on 3 years removed from the game. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like as athletes, football players, we're trying to find that next best thing.
Yeah.
That next thing to make us happy, to get us excited, to get us going. Would you say that you're fulfilled with this next, I guess, life that you're living? Would you say that this gets you excited and you're really content with where you are right now?
Yeah, we're never content, right? Because we athletes, so we're never like, oh, this is enough. It's never really enough for us. But I say this, and the reason why a lot of guys struggle getting to that next phase, because it's hard to replace that feeling running out to 70,000 plus and millions of people watching at home. Yeah. You know, you got a big play, big tackle, big catch, big sack, or whatever. You get home and you got 100 text messages from everybody just watched you on the big stage. And so when that is removed from you along with the regimen, waking up at a certain time, competing, then you get lost in the shuffle of this space. And for me, because I've always been in combat sports, it was an easy transition. Yeah. But there were still some days, man. I'll be at NFL Network and I'm talking about the game. I get off set, the hour, whatever I'm there. I jump off Total Access. I'm like, damn, this is it?
Just an hour we're talking.
You know what I'm saying? And so, that void was still there. But, you find that next passion that you felt when you made that big play or running out to 70,000. We're going to be successful in anything we do because we got the discipline. We're not afraid to sacrifice and doing what we need to do in order to get there. And, to be involved in what I'm doing now, you don't get a chance to do that second thing that you love equally as you did playing football, so.
And when did you find yours?
Early on, man, to be honest. The nickname Lights Out, I actually bought the rights and trademarks when I was 21. When I first got in, I got some money, and I was like, man, I want to own my own name. And so I knew right then and there that I wanted to do something, but I just didn't know what. And it was first the clothing industry. So I was selling Lights Out apparel clothes in DTLRs on the East Coast, and I was in like 100-plus stores. And on the West Coast, I was in Tilly's and those kind of, big. I was on 100 Tilly's on the West Coast. And so it was apparel. But, man, I was like, man, this is it's great. Great business, a lot of money. But it wasn't the satisfaction of building. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so with this, man, to see us constantly growing, we're on Fubo. We air a week later on Bally's, Amazon, Freevee, MSG, and then I'm about to announce here in the next few weeks another big partnership to get us more distribution all over the world. Yeah. So, that part for me, man, just to the answer to your question, I don't think for us and how we're built, like it's never really, enough.
Right. I want to talk about, you mentioned that once you started the MMA, that the fighting and all that, and how it helped that next year on the football field. A lot of our listeners and viewers, whether they're parents, whether they are athletes themselves, what's your thoughts on maybe adding this to your off-season regimen?
I think it needs to happen. And then, too, I think what people associate fighting is like getting in the cage and throwing a punch, getting hit in the face. Right. There's so many different ways. Look, Tua this past year took up jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So he can learn how to fall and stay healthy. Yeah. He was on the field all year.
Every game.
You get what I'm saying?
Every game.
He ain't been on the field all year his whole career, including in college. All of a sudden, you pick up a sport and you pick up a discipline, and now you're on the field. And so, and I was watching him. I was like, dude, that dude tucked and rolled, and like,
I saw it.
I saw it, and I saw the because that's what you got to learn how to do when somebody take you to the ground is not flop and flail and hit the back of your head off of the for the ground. And so just watching him, I knew what it did for him, and I'm like, man, only if we can get enough guys to buy in to pick up. I've trained in all season with Mercedes Lewis. Mm-hmm. He a dog. I mean, if Mercedes wanted to fight next week,
he's still playing,
bro.
There was one tight end that I hated going against. It was Mercedes Lewis.
I
could not stand.
I lie to you not. And he don't put his MMA or his combat sports training and all that stuff out in the blast. He'll do it once in a while, put it on the story. But I'm telling you, if he wanted to turn on a fight in 2 weeks, he could. He's like that. Yeah. Clay Matthews and all these guys. I remember a lot of these guys I brought in and was training around, and it's cool to see that the sport is getting more global and getting more out there.
And when you look at the sport of MMA compared to boxing, are we seeing a shift in excitement, a shift in stars?
Absolutely.
Or has it already taken over?
I think it's already taken over. But this is what I will give box, because I grew up a boxing fan first, right? My family and uncles were all professional boxers. Boxing took a back seat because nobody wanted to see a number 2 guy fight a number 32 guy. Mm-hmm. Right? These big fights hasn't happened other than the new ones with Terrence Crawford and Spencer and Ryan Garcia and Javante. Like, it's starting to come back around because they realize that nobody's wanting to pay a champ to fight a scrub.
Right.
And the managers and the promoters and the TV networks have gotten in the way of the business side of it because everybody protecting their pockets instead of giving back to the game. So the boxing is taking a back seat. In the UFC, if you're a champion, you're fighting the number 3 guy. Mm-hmm. You're the number 2 guy, you're fighting the number 5 guy. Mm-hmm. And so when you got evenly matching and it doesn't matter, and then one loss doesn't set you back to ground zero. Yeah. You fought a champion, and somebody going to lose. Yeah. And so that's why. So boxing's making its way back.
So what is it going to take for the dollar signs to start evening out? Because we see, obviously, what Money May did with these top guys. When are we going to start to see that shift in dollar signs where the top MMA guys are getting paid like some real money?
It's different because, these guys are under contract of an organization. And people not understanding that. I don't
understand that.
Yeah, okay, so, when you're a boxer, you are signed to a promotion, right? Golden Boy or Top Rank or whatever.
And De La Hoya stuff.
Yeah, so in MMA, you're literally signed to an organization, a company.
Okay.
You're more of an individual in boxing.
Got it.
You're more of an individual. And so the thing is, too, the guys that are climbing, you never hear John Jones talk about money. You never hear Israel Adesanya complain, oh, man, we ain't making. If you're a top guy in MMA, you're making boxing money. You just are.
Okay.
But, you gotta get there and make step. And people don't talk, man. Like, boxers, until they get to those championship fights or around, they don't make much money either.
Nope.
And so everybody want to talk about, to your point. Yeah. To your point, Floyd Mayweather and all these guys who made a tremendous amount of money. And by the way, Floyd bettered himself by leaving HBO and then going over Showtime and creating his own thing. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about the top guys, but there's guys right now that's 20-0 boxers that's fighting for 30 grand, 50 grand.
Yeah.
And so when
because Bud Crawford, when he started getting some serious money, like
5-6 years, right?
Yeah.
Last 5-6 years.
Okay. Yeah, and so you get up there, and then what happens is when the money gets bigger, you fight less. You're bigger fights. Mm-hmm. And so, once you reach that pinnacle, you'll start making the money. But you never hear the top guys in MMA ever complain about money because they're making it.
Okay.
Football, right now, your favorite players give me 3 of your favorite players on defense in the NFL right now.
I'm going to go with Micah. Micah's my personal favorite. The style of play and what he can do, how explosive that dude is and where you can line him up at, what you can do with him is one. Close Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa. I always go back and forth with them 2 guys. But you got to slide in T.J. Watt, too, at the same time because he don't, Khalil Mack. It's hard. It's hard.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to say it because each one of these guys got something about their game that I personally like. And, with LT, Lawrence Taylor being my favorite player growing up, I see a lot of Micah in him. and the ability, explosive, how fast he is, and just his style of play. I see that in him. But Myles Garrett, if you see that dude in person, he's a freak, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just walking up to him and his capabilities. And so.
Where are you at with you and your relationship with football? Some guys, when they get done, it's like, F it, I'm done with it. Are you still around? Do you still want to get back to it? What's your –
Yeah,
you still good with it?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, but, I think that everybody got that period in time where you're upset at the game and that you don't want to watch. You don't want to show up. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to be involved. I mean, and that's because, we don't end the time that we stop playing. It ends us. So a lot of guys when they get done, they get frustrated and a little bit of a hatred towards, man. I was done wrong and I don't want to support the game anymore. And it takes a little. If you were done that way on the way out, me, I was done because I wanted to be done. I was like, man, I had some injuries. I did everything I wanted to do, and I got other stuff that I wanted to. I was ready to move on. Yeah. But the guys that are not ready to move on, they kind of get pushed out the door, and that end date, there's no date. Ain't nobody tell you you're gonna be done on this date. And so when they come ask for that playbook and they decide to move on to that young guy for cheaper, that's it. And so it leaves some guys being bitter, which I understand.
Yeah. Well, brother,
I appreciate you. Hey. Before we go, man, I got to talk about that Chargers team that you was on. Man, I saw you on the elevator today, man. I'm a big fan, man. I'm fanning out right now. But one of the things I heard, and I don't believe it, somebody told me that Phillip Rivers was a big shit talker. Is that true?
The biggest.
Phillip Rivers?
The biggest. It's nobody bigger.
Man, I was on the field with this dude one time. He's like, KJ, you guys running the same blitz you ran? Bro, we're in the middle of a football game. He's about to snap the ball. It's third down. You guys ran that blitz last week. Down said, HUD. First down.
He do. Listen, but, so this was crazy about Phillip. Over the last couple years, the mic'd up stuff and all that, it's gotten more out there about the stuff he says. First of all, you find out he don't curse, right? No matter what, you couldn't piss him off enough to curse. Yeah. That's never going to happen. The second part about that is it's become more comical because the defensive guys love that. He's you hit him, you could be laying on top of him. He'll hit you on the head, tell you the good hit. Like, you got to get there a little bit faster next time. Yeah. Oh, why are you on him? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you on him? But people think this happened. What happened to you happened every day to us in practice. Yeah. It happened every single day. And so we were so used to it that when the outside world started talking about it more, it's like, man, this is a Wednesday for us. And I'm talking about to go by in the weight room. You on there, you got, hundreds. During the season, you ain't trying to get stronger, right? You're trying to maintain. So we in there on that lift. You got to wait that 2-3 day mandatory lift. You in there, just trying to get your weights in and move on. It's like, oh, you got Walter Jones today. Them hundreds ain't going to do nothing. I'm like, yo, bro, stop. You know what I'm saying? Stop. But that was him. He just never stopped. Yeah, and so you love him for it. You miss him for it. And he was probably the most and biggest competitor I ever played with.
And a guy that is about to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, Antonio Gates, a lot of people know about him, but they don't know about him. What's something about AG that really stood out to you when you was in the locker room with him?
He toned from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So he got that swag with him. And the reason why he was never really outspoken. He was always kind of quiet, really wasn't a big media guy like that or whatever. So he kind of behind the scenes. But I used to go to Tone, especially when I first came in, and he'll have on a jacket, some shoes or something I ain't never seen before, right? Because I'm like, I come in there, I got some money now. Whatever Antonio Gates wearing, I'm trying to see who making his clothes. Where you buy them shoes from? I say, Tone, where you get that jacket from, man? Huh. Only me and LL Cool J and Denzel Washington got one of these. He would never, still to this day, he would never tell me who made none of his clothes. And I'd be serious. I'll go to him 2-3 weeks later. I'm like, Tone, hey, so where you get that jacket from? Shit, just it's Denzel got one of these. Never told me. And so it was almost in a sense, man. And you walk in the locker room, you got the old heads in there. I had Lorenzo Neal, LT, Phil, Jamal Williams.
Was Quinn Jammer there?
Jam. Yep. Right? Yep. Jam. So all your old head guys, you start to appreciate them a little bit more when you get older and you get out the game. She was like, man, things could have went left if you didn't have the right guys. Randall Godfrey, Donnie Edwards. We had some real OGs in there, man. And I was fortunate to be around them.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, same here,
Thank you,
man.
man.
Thank you.
Keep doing your thing, man.
All right.
Keep
Appreciate it,
doing your
man.
thing.
Y'all
Yeah.
too, man.